What is up, everyone, and welcome to Ask Us Anything, or Say Something Funny. A summer without religion? Yes, that's right, where we are having a fun time in the sun, but the show itself is where you get the chance to ask us anything, or give us your best... Is this on? Give us your best one-liner. That's right. Where you can send live questions and jokes via super chats, or if you have channel membership or Patreon, like our evolving badge system down below, or a Patreon which we'll send out, as this is our love letter to our supporters. What's that? Oh, as well as Gizmo as our producer is on to make sure that everything's going right.
Supervising, yeah.
Supervising.
Make sure we don't wreck the show at the start, right, Gizzy?
But as well as our Patreons and our channel members and super chatters, all of our subscribers and viewers are invited in on the fun. I need a bang cut. I can make it work, but I need a bang cut. So feel free to keep on tagging us in chat at James W. or Amy Newman, or just saying hi, and we'll say hi to you. Or, of course, if you're a counter-apologist, or we're counter-apologists, if you're an apologist, you want to say the Lord Jesus Christ is your Savior, come tell us so we can ask why. Doesn't really make too much sense. But yes, don't forget as well to hit that like button. It tells the algorithm, all right, this isn't just a whole bunch of porn, but maybe that would actually make the algorithm go up. James,
they're not actually
do more.
They didn't just buy subscribers. The people are actually watching.
They didn't just, invest a whole bunch of money. And not only that, my favorite is saying it out loud. That's still my favorite. How did they catch us in the crime? Oh, well, we said it out loud.
Damn, it's gonna cost us $2,000 to get all our subscribers back.
And it turns out, no, you can't. You just got to go back to your little whatever the frig church that he works for. Though we're gonna be debating him next week. Yeah. So look out for so much fun. I like it because this is their shtick, all right? They're running a thing.
Give it to him.
Well, I forget. Just like Crowder had his sign that went famous that was like, genders, male and female.
There are only two genders.
Yes. And so Kent has his shtick, which is bring on as many atheists as you want. They still won't defeat me. Punch, punch, punch. Though that's not really how we should look at debates. But I think that will be his downfall for us because, this is kind of what we do. We generate, in essence, what it's going to become is a regular Calvi show, the two of us and him. Because we're used to having, inviting someone on to kind of tell us why they believe in what they believe. Though Will Kent defend, he really likes evolution, or should I say being against evolution. Does he really he's not really like a Kalam guy. So
no,
it's probably going to be evolution.
He just likes to try to poke holes in evolution. He's not really a philosopher. He's not really. He tries to come at it from a scientific angle.
Theorist.
He doesn't actually know what he's talking about. I guess is the.
It could be from the lack of actual doctorate. Though I'm just throwing bands out there because there's tons of people that know lots of things that don't have doctorates. They just don't claim to have doctorates.
Listen, you can get a doctorate. You can go to school for years, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years, or I mean, you can send away on the back of the box of Captain Crunch and get your doctorate degree. It's really, I mean, it's just a piece of paper, Amy.
That's right, James. Just a piece of paper. When you go to University of Basement, you get the finest educators from all over the Bible Belt.
Atheist Jr. just debated him the other day, and it's always fun to see those two go at it because I don't think anybody knows Kent better than Atheist Jr. So their interactions are always.
He
fun
is
to
kind of
watch.
like a Tom Rabbit to a specific
a
presupposition.
thorn in Kent Hovind's side. Ken, he can't help himself but bring up the taxes thing. Like, why am I paying taxes for your religion? And it, like, Kent, your taxes, Kent? Well, I mean, I pay every tax I owe.
I pay tax every time I go to Wendy's. Okay, Kent.
I just put gas in the car and I paid gas tax on it. So.
And then they have the audacity to do the sovereign citizenship after he collects all this tax-free shit from religion anyway.
Well, and that's the thing. Then he's like, property taxes. That goes to education. And Atheist Jr.'s like, but Ken, you don't pay property tax anymore. You're a 501c3 now.
That's right.
Oh, well, I mean, there's a lot of places that are 501c3. What's wrong with 501c3? But then don't say that you pay taxes if you're not.
You're kind of a cult-like organization.
Paying taxes, Ken.
Also a scam artist.
I mean, that's the thing. If he can say, I don't like evolution being taught in the schools because I just don't like it. But when he actually says that he is funding it when he's not.
His hard-earned dollars are funding, well, not his hard-earned money, but someone's hard-earned money.
What's the other thing? He always says like, an honest court of law. Yeah, but Kent, you were found guilty in an honest court of law. Evolution did go versus
it's the closest he's ever found to the peer review process as a jury of his peers.
Intelligent design went to trial in an honest court of law, and they said it was nonsense, not science.
Yeah, every time the creationism has ever been put, or intelligent design, as their new name likes to be called, has gone to trial, it has lost horribly by even conservative Christians who knew that it wasn't science.
And that's the thing, like, it's just his brand of Christianity, and he's not even saying that if you don't accept his interpretation of a hyper-literal interpretation of Genesis, you can't be a Christian. He doesn't say that. He even says that the old earthers, the theistic evolution, he still considers them to be Christians, just they're wrong on that, but
Sure.
why is it the hill?
He's like, listen, I understand there's a bunch of also sane religious people out there, and I accept them for who they are on the inside. Thanks, Kent. Nice to know. But we'll also accept any religious person that wants to be on Team Science. As the agnostic, atheist, anti-theist that we are, we do want religious people who accept science. It's a low bar, James, but we're going to put it up there.
Hey, you reached the bottom of the barrel. We're actually digging under the barrel. So, I mean, we haven't hit bottom yet.
Once again, if you reach the bottom, you then need James Cameron to actually lift the bar. The only person who actually can. But yes, you can also follow on twitch.tv/Amy.
He wasn't on that sub.
Oh, no. He very much would not have been on that sub. He's been very critical. He said that he was the specific materials that sub were built out of were known for degrading over time. And he is quoted as basically saying he knew that it wasn't going to break the first time. It was a question of when.
Right.
And yes.
Which truth be told, that's anything degrades over time. But the stuff this stuff was made out of is
This was not the
especially
proper materials.
vulnerable
Didn't have
to that. Yeah.
Yes, and it wasn't. His was a submersible that was trying to go to certain depths for exploration, and they were using this as a means for commercial. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, there's anything. Listen, my cousin's gay. There's anything wrong with that. But I'm okay with capitalism. But this is why you need to be using the correct scientists to implement the correct protocols and regulations.
I didn't realize how that thing was rigged together. The doorway didn't actually open; it just had to be bolted on. And then
really,
yeah. So if they surfaced and there was nobody there to let them out, they would have no way to get out of there because it didn't open. It was just literally bolted on from the outside.
So it was a cage, created cage.
Basically, yeah, a cage, and then of course the
not
the
a
Xbox
Nicholas
controller
cage.
they used to steer it, which
I know that was the other thing that I was trying to say. Didn't have the proper equipment that generally, and you don't have to do this. James Cameron, in a lot of the industries that he comes into, he's building new equipment and trying to test the limits. If you have a switch on one side and on the other side is like the Atlantic or the Pacific Ocean. But humans, ladies and gentlemen, they're good at human. What were we talking about? Subscribing! Hit that subscribe button. You can hit that subscribe button. And if you do so, it gives you access to that all button icon that when you hit to all, because subscribing doesn't actually, it tells you that you're like a fan, you're a supporter, but the actual content that you actually watch,
not a
you could be you could be a supporter of kale, but if all you eat is nachos, then YouTube is going to send you nachos, and welcome to your nachos and cheese, ladies and gentlemen. Dun, dun, dun. Speaking of which, it gives you access to see our premieres. Speaking of premieres, if you are a Patreon, and I'll send out the Patreon, I should be doing, I can't help it, because I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Right there at our Patreon, patreon.com/Amy Newman. I did what Mark Reid told me, which was a great idea, which was I released my stand-up, my latest one, onto our Patreon. So it's been on there for about a week. Sending love to James Wolfe out there, who gave me great feedback on it, and as well as James W., who gave me his great feedback. The Jameses, right? Jameses. And so that's going to be released in a week or two into regular stream just for our viewers. But if you want to see it right now, you have to go on our Patreon.
I know.
What was I saying? Oh, because if you see our premieres or join our live streams, what is up, everyone? What is up, Pat? Woohoo! What is up? God equals the square root of -1, and Spooky Bed Hair, and Goth Bunch, and the Sinister Porpoise, and Dave Rogers, and Sumami, and Peebo, and Sunflower, and everybody, Binge Thinker, Fair and Salis. If we missed you, keep on saying hi, and we'll eventually say hi. Though this is our love letter, this episode, to our supporters, our Patreons, our channel members. Once again, our evolving badges that just evolve. Kent says, and all these creationists, but I think they are. I've been seeing more and more articles that say, the wane of the Christians going to church and all sorts of things. Who knows if that's just because of my select algorithm that's just sending me things that I like. But, come on, Barbie.
But
let's
maybe it's like a thing where maybe in a way that's actually making him become more like the ones that are still going are like the diehard fanatics.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
The ones that are more moderates, they
James,
gave up on it. But
I am highly scared. Not to keep on harping about this, but I'm highly scared with this next election, because this next election, it's going to be, is the trans thing scary enough to vote a person who I believe will give the religious right, the small, very small fringe minority that's dying, everything that they want and transform the entire country? Or will the country just continue to be boring? Those are our two options.
Listen, the Justice Department's got your back. They have a stack of indictments. They're just going to release a couple more charges out every month until the election. Oh, we indicted him on something else now. Hey, another indictment. They're just going to keep indicting him until the election, basically.
Doesn't surprise me. I mean, he is a shady motherfucker. He's never done. But once again, and
it is politics. It's a game, and
it is.
But they're playing it. They're playing it best way that they can. So
I feel bad when I start veering into politics. Oh my God, Trump is not, and sending love out there. Trump is not only is Trump not religious, I would be willing to bet, if not Obama, then Trump is our first atheist president. I'd be willing to put dollars for buckets that the amount of time and energy that he spends in religion or thinking about theology, like, couldn't buy you a hamburger at McDonald's.
I mean, he walks the walk. He goes to church, but I mean, at the end of the day, that's because it's what he's expected to do. Does he really believe it? Probably.
Or he knows to at least. I saw him recently. He was asked by like a woman that was like the stereotypical Southwestern, could you answer how faith makes your life grow? And his response was, after rambling on for like a good minute or half about some other goddamn subject, was like, he just loved evangelicals. They make him smile. He didn't answer how faith. He said evangelicals are great. He said religious people are great. That was his entire answer after like giving like a 2 minutes like of not doing a text report, your book report homework. And so who am I referring to? I am referring to Trump, because he will give them everything. That just because he's not religious doesn't mean that he will not give everything, because very specifically his politics are whatever the person is in front of him is saying, and are they his friend or not? And if they like him, then he will give them whatever they want. And if they don't, then you've created your biggest enemy, and you are a political rival, and he will.
So I think everybody he does a lot of bizarre things. Just how he was like Mike Pence was pretty loyal to him throughout his presidency, and how he expected Mike Pence to just walk into Congress and try to nullify the results by himself, which has never happened before. There's no precedent for a vice president just saying, yeah, we're not going to count these votes from this state, which would be a constitutional crisis. There's nothing like that's ever happened before, but to think that was going to work, I mean, but to hold it against Mike Pence,
we almost had a fascist coup. We're bombarded with so much that we almost kind of walk it off. I almost get exhausted by it. We're like, January 6th, whatever. But yes, these types of things, if they had gone the other way, would have changed the face of society. Sending love, what's up, Randolph Richardson?
But either way,
no. Well,
I think Mike Pence would have had to, even if he tried that, I think he would have eventually had to back down, because the media pressure, the public, it would be too. You wouldn't be able to to do that.
And Mike Pence is an actual religious person who gives a shit about that stuff. But so don't confuse one for the other. You know, DeSantis may actually mean half the things that he say. He's probably not as terrible. He's a terrible human being, but he's different than Trump because they, Trump does it. He's for sale. He's a New Yorker for sale. And so the things that I hate about Trump are the worst things that I hate about a stereotypical Northeasterner, to be quite frank. Sending love out there.
Yeah, Pence knew it wouldn't have worked. Pence is a religious zealot, though. He is
a religious zealot. And that is the main thing that I think James and I are against. You know,
which is why he would have been more dangerous than. It would have been more dangerous to impede. Like if Trump had been removed from office and Pence put in, but Pence is a zealot. But Pence is a much more polished politician, so he's not going to step in the shit nearly as often. It's a lot harder to.
To me, it's
someone like that down.
I would be way more comfortable. I know you don't like Chris Christie, but I would have taken a Romney. I think Mormonism.
I don't dislike Chris Christie. Chris Christie's all right.
Okay. And I think Mormonism is batshit insane, but it's not. It has nothing to do. But all religions, to me, for the most part, are batshit insane. These are just people who at least seem like they're not cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And so it's the people that are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You know, I'm not excited for, who's in office. I know a lot of people dislike him as well. I just think that he's boring and old, and that I think that he's unfortunately the only choice I'm going to get. And I know people hate this, the lesser of two evils thing. I don't think that Biden is evil. I just think that he's not a great choice. He's just boring and could have been Democrats could offer much better things. But the few people that are on the other side that I think could win, I am actually scared of. And so
and that's why you get Biden, because what's the alternative, right? What are you gonna do? You're not going to vote for one of them. So, I mean, it's like, okay.
But I can't even be apathetic or third party.
It's like, imagine if you've got two restaurants, one across the street from the other, okay? And one of the restaurants, the owner curses customers out. He just runs the place terrible. Across the street, are you going to be competing with that? Are you going to like, oh, hey, we need to give some discounts, we need to do some promotions? No, you don't need to do shit, because he's driving all the customers to you. So that's why on the Democrats we get people like Biden who while he's not crazy like that, he is not going to do anything to really change the way country works.
Let me just say on that, I agree with you. And I want to vote a third party option. I understand people are apathetic, because I was apathetic for many years of my life. And so I'm not saying be a party, join a party, be a monolith, be an echo chamber. Like I said, I think there are good and bad on both sides. I see them. I just think that the next few elections are just crucial in how scary that the religious could get controlled. That's all I care about, unfortunately.
I understand. Voter. It's dying. I mean,
I'm hoping, I think that the tranny issue isn't going to be a problem forever. I think the next two elections, they're going to get it out of their system. The sky is not going to fall. And so eventually they're not going to be able to use it. And I'll be like, okay, you know what? Do whatever you want. Vote green, vote libertarian, make up your own fucking party, and let's actually expand. I think we shouldn't be a two-party system. I think we should be a little bit more fair when it comes to that. Like I said, I'm just legitimately scared. And so...
Right. As someone who is who you are, that's understandable because that's your, it goes to your very identity or the core of who you are as a person. So
and they
of
tell
course
us they're coming for us.
anybody can understand why you you have a right to feel like you have a target on your back, because you kind of do.
Exactly. And I don't want to feel like I'm a victim, because I'm not a victim. Nothing has happened. The sky is not falling.
You don't walk
either.
around flashing the victim card every 5 minutes. It's not
yes,
who you are.
I am just trying to say, let's watch the weather, so that if the water goes out, we understand that maybe we should go up to higher land to not get hit by a tsunami. That's all I'm trying to say.
The pitfall with that is that if the music keeps playing, like the music on the Titanic, like the band playing on the Titanic, as late stage capitalism starts to sink further down, but we all just keep going out and consuming because, hey, the music's still playing. We can kind of still make it work if we stretch our dollars and take on debt and do X, Y, and Z. We can still have our middle class lifestyle. As that becomes less viable, though, going forward, it's when you have that economic collapse, economic peril. What happens when we have another Great Recession that's worse than the one before, because we didn't really do anything to fix the structural problems with the economy last time. We kind of just bandaged it up and sent it out there again, and but the same structural problems are there, and that's when people get desperate, is when the economy collapses, when
and we won't be focusing on real issues, I think, for at least the next 4 to 8 years. I think the 3 biggest issues that really are dealing with crony capitalism. I hate that. You see now, and when I say crony capitalism, but do you notice it's starting to get into my word capitalism? That is,
you're even doing it.
Capitalism that is a bunch of con people. Is the healthcare, the health insurance industry, the prison industry, and the the kind of addicted industry, which are kind of all 3 together. When you have, the insurance, you have people who have an opioid addiction, and then they get sent to jail, and it's kind of this funnel. I think these 3 things are kind of linchpins that, prison reform, as much as we have private prisons and all this, we need to drastically reform our prison system. We should not have our healthcare system. I think that we have the best doctors and nurses in the world. At least some of the, we have really good education, really good academia. We really good training programs. But once again, health insurance is just a middleman that doesn't need to exist. And
those are definitely big issues, but I don't think we're going to be able to slip away with just talking about those, with just talking about things like that. I do think, like, just the ability for people to make a living is constantly being downgraded.
Well, automation.
Yeah, and that's not going to stop. That's going to accelerate. And cost of education is up. We've got all these student loan debt that is not going to be paid. That people just aren't going to be able to earn enough to pay it back. That's just the reality of it. We have Social Security is going to start running out of money to pay full benefits within a decade. Yet, what do? Take more money out of people's paychecks to go to Social Security when they can't pay their bills already? It's just, it's. But we don't address that because the people up at the top are doing fine. They don't care. It's not going to affect them. And, so we get people like Biden who is not going to do anything that rocks the boat from their perspective, but he's also not going to do nothing bold, nothing revolutionary.
Yes. And for this election cycle, I'm okay with that, because it's literally like someone being like, oh my God, do you want plain food, or do you want this food that's been off to the side that's kind of rotting and may cause some sort of disease? And it's just you know what? I'll take the bland food. But I get you.
But if you accept that, you'll never get anything better. You will never get better than bland.
I understand that, and
just going to be the way it is.
I want exciting food. I want my Takis. I like food so spicy that Rachel generally turns to me and she goes, "You are sweating. You know, like you're physically sweating, right?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's so good." I drink a glass of milk with wings. It's fantastic. Just cuts it right off, and you can just keep on heading right back into more wings.
I mean,
what we're talking about?
But yes, kind of like the
but I get you.
It's the disease of the two-party system.
Yes,
we don't actually get anywhere. We just stay in the middle, and you can't really make changes too far one way or the other.
James, you and I are both young. We think we're old just because we're this age, but we're not. But as we get older, we'll eventually think this was young, and so I am okay eating a plain food just so I could get off the post-apocalyptic bus and then get into spicy, because we need systematic change. I'm not saying that my gosh, there are so many systems in this country that we call ourselves number one, and yet we're like number 20. And so, I love this country. I love but I think that we need drastic change and sending love to the entire world. We are a worldwide show, baby. And so I will say, just to bring it back into, because I was saying, and I think Pat does have a great point, just to point out, Mormonism is no less batshit crazy than any other religion. It's just more recent religious movement and subject to more criticism given available evidence. And that is true. But Mormonism,
it's easier to falsify.
Scientology, Mormonism to me shares kind of roots with Islam, just because it's like a competition, not sharing as in like a book, but they're both consider themselves the trilogies. It was the Old Testament, the New Testament, and then James, do we got a third book for you?
Well, yeah, Dave, they would, but they're not going to do that. They don't care. They'll let the seniors eat cat food before they do that.
Oof. Yeah. Billionaires are doing nice and fine. I remember that there's a blaring statistic that I should be able to quote, but it's like...
oh, yes, Umami, the original trilogy by far the best.
Mormonism is cool as it used to be. Hey, speaking of Mormonism, what is up, James Wolfe? They used to have space gods. And I always like to call them Christians in space. But yes, do you know who used to, her big job, how she originally got famous before she became an internet celebrity? Do you know who used to work for the play Book of Mormon and was on tour for Broadway?
Who's that?
Well, it is a transgender individual. Her name is Dylan Mulvaney. Have you ever heard of this person?
I have, yeah.
I wouldn't have if it wasn't. I keep on veering back into it.
If it wasn't for Bud Light.
But I'm setting up to do a new stand-up set this Friday. And so I didn't want to do... I'm told that you kind of want to do... You can actually do the same material over and over, because in a club, it's only the comedians that go back every week, but like the people at the bar and the people who go to see comedy shows, they generally don't go back every week. And so, however, and so what I'm probably going to do though is start going to do different clubs. I can't, like, it felt weird when I did it. And so what I'm probably going to do is talk about new subjects when I go to the same place. I can't help it. And so I'm probably going to talk about Get It Out of My System this week. But it's just weird. The more I look at her, I look at Dylan, and I'm like, there is nothing very particular, unique. Like, she's a amazing individual. She seems smart. She actually, when you listen to her responses and to a lot of the controversy, she actually sounds like a well-articulated individual, even though, you know, they gave her a lot of
imagine what she's gone through. I mean,
I can't even imagine.
For her to keep her head up and just keep on grinding, keep on doing her thing after, you know, after what she's been put through is.
And so that is the weird thing that gets to me, is that this really is just like a last end culture war. The only thing that I found unique about her is the trans thing. Like, I mean, you could say she because of the Book of Mormon, but I don't think that they're boycotting her because there's a bunch of
most of them are Mormon anyway. They don't care.
Yeah. No, they're mostly religious. So it could be that they are doing an anti-Broadway musical boycott for Bud Light, but it might just be that she's trans. Yes, exactly. I wouldn't have heard, and that is also my other point.
I didn't know who she was.
Exactly. The straight white heterosexual males would have never known, and I would have never known. I love both Broadway musicals and the play Book of Mormon, and I still didn't know who she was. And so, like, the cancel culture of the very specific religious decided to, you know, make a culture war using her as a martyr.
And I mean, that's the hypocrisy of it, is both sides engage in cancel culture type. Absolutely. It's just they don't like it when it's being done to them, but when they're doing it to other people, they don't seem to.
James, when the whole anti-Chick-fil-A was going on, and I heard, you know, generally speaking, the point going, hey, because I was a bit of a hypocrite. I was always eating fried chicken.
Yeah.
Did I used to? James, literally, I would have to open the bag, and it would have to call me up to my face for me not to eat the chicken sandwich. And even then, as long as it didn't have pickles on it, I'd probably still eat the chicken sandwich.
You like break it in there on Sunday just to cook the food yourself.
Literally, they butter their bread. Like, if Burger King or McDonald's decided to butter their bread.
Wendy's started doing that for a while, and it was good.
Really?
Yeah.
My God. I mean, it's calorie inducing right to your heart. But what is up? What is up, Beamsy? Sending so much love. And Miss Portland, #1 fan, and Captive Desk, and everybody hanging out with us. This is mostly our rant show. This is basically the giant show where we just talk about ranting. Exactly. But, you know, it's our love letter to our supporters. First of all, our Patreons at patreon.com/ABNewman, woohoo, where you can support the channel and get our latest premieres, as well as our channel membership right down at the bottom with our evolving badges. But we also just want to send love to everybody out there, subscribers, viewers. Fenton, what is up? Woo-hoo. Cancel me hard, baby. And that, like James was saying, that is true. Like, you know, but what was I getting to? There we go. The end of my story, which is, you know, they were saying, well, James, we're not canceling Chick-fil-A. We are just using our dollars and we're just putting them into other places. And then for years, all we got was cancel culture. And then now when it comes to Bud Light, when I try to talk to them, anytime that I ever bring up this cancel culture point, without a doubt, without fail, now I just get, well, we're just trying to put our money, into companies that we think value our traditions more. Oh, really?
None of them do. No companies give a shit
James,
about their traditions, about anything. They just want your money. They don't care, one way or the other.
Can I tell you why I think that there hasn't been such a response from Bud Light? It's because this corporation is a multinational. They're a worldwide corporation, and they own almost all the beers everywhere. That's the other thing that I love about this.
Probably,
I can't say Abshire Bush, whatever.
40 or 50% of the beers and liquors in the world.
And so they get this very one specific thing. First of all, it would be like it'd be like boycotting Diet Coke and not boycotting Coke. Can we also just point that out? That they're going after the light version, very specific. I've heard some people that are like, okay, fine, we're not going to buy Bud. Well, we're not going to go any Abshire Bush or whatever. But James, do you know what the number one beer is right now in America?
What's that?
It's like Moldova something.
Oh, Modelo.
Modelo.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's a Mexican beer.
Decent beer. It's
do you know who produces?
Is it InBev? Same company?
It is 100%. They literally boycotted the number one selling beer of one company so that they could absolutely make their other number two selling beer the number one selling beer. I mean, my favorite thing is also just about that. And I'm James. At this point, I'm just basically practicing my routine. But it warms my heart that it goes to show you that a conservative may put out they may put out a hardworking person that,
Yeah, that's right.
That appears to be an American, because they're not actually. But in the end, James, they'll just be replaced by a hardworking Mexican. I think that's what we're really learning about the American dream.
Well, the thing with the Bud Light, like by boycotting that particular brand of theirs, that's sending them the message that this is why your sales are down. So, I mean, from a messaging standpoint, they can't deny that why they're losing money, which they are losing money.
Sure.
So that's why that kind of makes.
No, absolutely. It absolutely has had an effect as in this one very specific. I think the reason they haven't had such a pushback is because this company has so many buckets, and it would have to have affect many of their buckets over many countries, and it just can't do that. It's going to have a cultural effect here, I think. Unfortunately, we'll see. Companies are going to have to put their balls where their mouth is. That's not the right expression, but that sounds pretty hot. I'll tell you what. Put your balls where your mouth is, James.
I don't know.
They have to put their money where their mouth is.
I don't know.
Huh?
He's saying it's okay to be racist, but not be anti-LGBT. I don't know.
Who's okay to be? It's not okay to be. It is not okay to be racist, there's only two versions of anti-LGBTQ. You have two options, and I get a lot of pushback from this that inadvertently they always end up joining one of the buckets. You either are religious or you are in the closet. There's also a third option, though, James. Do you know what the third option is?
What's that?
Both. All right? There is a chance that they could be religious and in the closet. It's a good combination.
I mean, there probably are. I mean, I guess there probably are a few people who are not really super religious and just don't like or just care so much about women's sports. I don't know. I don't know.
That is, and we also just got our first question comment for Ask Her Anything, but I'll say the last thing on that. That is my favorite thing. All right, can we just say, unfortunately, and listen, for anyone except there's two people that like women's sports. Okay, James. All right. Okay, there's three people that like women's.
Give it to me.
I just realized there's three people that like. All right. There are women that are playing the sport. There are their parents that are watching, their family, and then lesbians. All right?
Okay.
All three of these groups are fantastic people. They're hardworking Americans, James. Apple pie eating Americans. But you'll notice that it's very hard to get giant ticket sales on these three groups. However, apparently they have a new men allied movement, James. You know who they are? The conservative Christian right. There has been no more there have been people interested in women's sports. James, I have my own favorite women's sports. As I say it plural. It's volleyball. Mostly for the human.
I don't know too many people don't like women's volleyball.
Is cheerleading a sport? I'll take that. Can that be actually? I'll have that as number one and volleyball as number two. But besides that, once again, we probably should pay them more. We should be funding them. We should be treating them and giving them scholarships. I have nothing against that.
I think they actually get like a higher percentage of the revenue than the men get, even though it's a much smaller pot. But
it's just very, very odd to see, James, these post-modern conservative religious people. It's amazing, James.
Amazing.
Amazing. And all right, let's go into we are asking us anything or say something funny. Feel free, if you are a Patreon or a channel member, to just send in your comment, question, or one-liner. But another way to do so, as well as support the channel, is to send in super chats like Peebo, a $5 super chat, sending so much love. Miss Portland, #1 fan can. I send my link on here for GoFundMe so I can buy a new handicap van. Oh my. Getting spicy. What is Peebo, send so much love, who has been on here many a great time. Sending love to him on chat. We have a fantastic skeptic and ranting community. And so sending so much love, Peebo. Thank you for all the love and support. And keep on sending in all the love. And we'll keep on sending all of it back. We are asking us anything or saying something funny. James Wolfe, here we go. Man for my heart. I love the women's NBA. Have a thing for tall women. Cake shaving. I do like the sport too. However, if you are into cake shaving, then we're going to do that. But yes, I mean, I like basketball. I like sports up until like they got super competitive at high school level. And I was like, But I completely agree with you here. I think that's good. So that's my number 3. Okay, you've saved me. So I have just become a fan of women's cheerleading, women's volleyball, and women's NBA. I'm in it for the really long strategy. Like, oh my God. The strategy wears thigh highs sometimes. That's what I really like. What are we talking about? That was a question. There was a question. Can I send my link on here? You're saying, well, Peebo, I'll tell you what. I know you in the community, and Titan and myself, we've kind of had to like make sure, because I went on kind of like and you get a wrench, and you get a wrench. Well, really, I think that the biggest thing was Sea Science. I got really excited because Sea Science got banished by a lot of creationists. Peebo, You are a mod already. You absolutely can send links. You're just being a gentleman about it. Then absolutely, I was about to mod you so you could send links, but you are a mod. So yes, feel free. Well, that was very gentlemanly of you, and I should appreciate the love and support. Because I didn't get it first, but now I do. Illumination. Oh, was it my question? Oh, it was their question. James, the context gets thicker. She's saying, can I send my link on here with GoSundMe so I can buy a new... So Mrs. Portland, #1 fan can is trying to make a handicap van? Did that... The rhyming wasn't even intentional. It makes me skeptical, and yet I still want to go out there. So Mrs. Portland, #1 fan, I want to help you get a new handicap van.
Help her help you.
Help her help you. Oh my goodness. We are not an ableist podcast because we actually support lots of neurodivergent or whatever human have going on. I love teaching. It's very interesting teaching a lesson to children on Helen Keller. A lot of the kids thought it was really cool that she did sign language in her hand. That was what really stuck out to them, because it was like, well, if she is both deaf and blind, how the hell was there any communication at all? How could you even teach her sign language? And that's because she had to.
It's hard to imagine, yeah. It's hard to
like this.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Had a breakthrough while running water was going through her hand, I believe, and the person trying to get through her was able to do something like that, able to break through first, tie a word to a concept, and once that was formed, she was able to, because then it skipped a lot. Then it was like, and then she went to college. There might have been a year or two in between, but all right. Sending so much love, but we might have a kitten. A kitten. I always love having. We got a buttercup to come join us. This podcast sponsored by Puppies and Kitties. I used to love volleyball puns, but then I fell on my ass.
Did you know?
Yes, probably. Hello, Subaru. We're having some fun. What's up, you are Victoria? And everybody out there. We are asking us anything or saying something funny. We're imagining a summer without religion.
So today is, just became the 31st, so we got a week and a half for our debate with Kent, scheduled for August 10th.
Oh, big girl. She ate food, then she wanted to go out. But don't you want to say hi to everybody on camera? What's she doing? She's hiding. She's like, all I want to do is go. Okay.
Have a good night, pseudonym.
Good night, pseudonym. My buttercup wanted to eat food, and then she wanted to leave. It is a cat alert. She was there for a second, though.
That's not... No, they're conscious. Cats are conscious, pseudo.
Yes. And we'll get to, James, what a topic to segue on. Going by my BMCSI model, cats are conscious. They have brains. They have minds. They are conscious and they are sentient. The thing that I'd be speculative is how introspective a cat can be. And, I'm sure there actually is aspects to them that are introspective, but I think that tends to be a trait that I would attach to simians and to porpoises and to ravens and to a lot of other organisms out there. But James, we went to the moon. Did you know we went to the moon? Someone ever told you that?
If you believe NASA.
Yeah, exactly. NASA shill over here.
So, what do you think? Because Kent's not gonna. He doesn't watch our content, so he's not gonna spy on us. How do you want to handle this debate? What are your thoughts on it going in? What do you want to try to accomplish?
I mean, in essence, I think it's going to end up being like a call me skeptical. Is it's going to be, maybe a good cop, bad cop, where every once in a while, maybe you and I verge into the other pole. Right. But generally speaking, I can't not make jokes, but I tend not to punch down or until someone takes a punch at me. Like, if he doesn't talk about me being trans, I have no expectation, and I don't think
probably try to avoid it. But I don't know if he'll be able to contain himself the whole debate, but he'll probably try to do it subtly.
If he feels cornered, he will. The low-hanging fruit, that kind of stuff, that's why I kind of relish it, and I kind of always, in that moment, it's always hard, but you have to either self-deprecate or gently rib back, but you can't get angry because that's what that is their last attempt. That means that they know that they're cornered and they're trying to make you upset so that they can kind of,
Well, you know what he would
flip
do
it.
Probably. He would.
Yes.
Someone like he would not call you a he, but he would probably what he would probably do is refer to you to someone in the room with him as a he, like, oh, he's getting a little flustered, right? Yeah.
When I went up against the specific presupposition list, and I may actually talk with him again, I may go back I want to go on Clubhouse and all these certain things. So inadvertently, I may intend talking to him, but he would call me Newman. That was the whole, they try and
call
avoid.
you Amy because he doesn't know your dead name, so he's just going to call you
and
Newman.
James,
he's not going to recognize you as Amy.
You know me long enough at this point to know that I don't give up. You know that to me at that point, that type of stuff is almost a weapon because they will say you're not a woman, and I'll say, hey, James, do you know who will never be a woman? Eve. Want to talk about Eve? You want to talk about some snakes? And inadvertently, they're like, but that's not what we're talking about. Well, I thought we were talking about biology.
You're not a real woman.
You're not a real woman. Oh, I know. Like, gonna get to the end of the fairy tale.
Jesse Lee Peterson would probably let you give him a blowjob, so you're not a real woman.
Yeah, indeed. He likes, some of the things that I have below the waist, but everything like above the waist.
If you were a woman, Amy, you know that a woman can't give oral sex to a man because
it's a man's job.
Yeah. Why would you have a woman do that?
And yes, mitochondrial Eve was real. But mitochondrial Eve, and there might have been many of them because it works over populations.
Yeah, I wouldn't use it as a singular like they do.
But taking that on board, you have to accept that Eve came, the mitochondrial Eve, where we got our mitochondria came before the ancestral type of lineage of an atom. But it wasn't a biblical thing. In fact, my challenge is that the Bible is not a historical document. Woohoo! Thank you so much, Maya. Sending so much love. I do. I view myself as a real woman because this is where when we get into the two-word things, it gets into your own. I separate out. There's biological women and there's transgender women, and both are true women to me. That's all I care about. I'm not going to sit there and be like, James, I have discovered the ways to change the chromosomes, and just like nanobots, it went blah, 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 blah. Uterus
go
just
cell
went
by
whoosh.
cell and rearrange your DNA. Yeah.
I mean, that it would be cool, but I feel like a feminine human being. I feel like, as far as I'm concerned, I'm done transitioning. Like, maybe if I ever get rich one day, I'm sure there's like light FFS facial feminization things you could everything. Right. There's light things like that.
But you consider you don't need to do that to feel like you're how you want to feel. That would be just like a cherry on top.
I like who I am. I like who I am, and it took many years to get there. And do I not think there's not things that I could improve on? No, but I think that's part of being a human. I don't think that's a trans thing.
That's with everybody.
Exactly.
Everybody can work on themselves in some way.
We are all caterpillars. That's right, Pimo.
But
I also think that's where, a lot of what's up, Pragmatic Crystal, and everyone sending love. Also, like now that I see purple rhymes with orange and Carrie and Nate Theist, but sending love out to Randolph Shrum. We have the fantastic Theist helpline. Which you should all be checking out.
Well, because I was watching the debate with Atheist Jr. and Kent the other day, and what I was thinking, like going into this debate, like Kent, he already admits that he lost the debate. He already admits that he's wrong because he accepts what he calls microevolution. He accepts that. And that's evolution. That's the whole game right there.
I'm really excited.
I
want him to show us a chart and be like, you accept this? I'm really excited to say yes. Because I'm assuming. I mean, I'll check out. I want to make sure the chart.
Doing now, he's making like a list. So he's going to ask, and like, I asked this guy if he's related to a duck. He's related to a duck. This guy's related to mosquito. What is Wade the Wizard? He's related to anteater. Amy, are you related to a duck-billed platypus? Are you related to those? Are you related to a strawberry? I don't want to hear about the strawberry plant. Just tell me about the berry.
Yeah, just the uterus. We're actually not related to the strawberry plant, Kent. We are just related to the berry. We're just related to
just the berry.
reproductive
Who cares
organ.
About the plant? Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Are you related to a hookworm?
Yeah. Once again, they say this as in
they try to pick like the most disgusting, stupid, what they consider stupid. This guy, are you related to a cockroach?
Yes, we are related to cockroaches. They are conscious beings.
You don't believe there was a snake in the Garden of Eden, but Amy, are you related to a snake? Are you related to a rattlesnake?
But the difference is we don't think snakes have vocal cords that could speak English.
Well, I mean,
or Arabic.
If God wanted a snake to talk, he can make a universe. He can make a snake talk. That's no problem for him.
I hate that argument because it's a tautology. They're always like, well, if God can do everything, can't God do everything?
Yeah.
Yes. Therefore, all religions are true no matter what the claim.
Well, that's what when you
talk
about decomposition and resurrection, that's what.
But both that means that Jesus came back from the dead and Muhammad cut the moon because James, he can do anything, right?
Well, but you see, Amy, Muhammad was not God. Jesus was God. So that's the distinction there with that.
Who cares? That's prophet. Was Moses a god? So Moses did magic tricks.
But Moses was working for the real God. Muhammad was working for the fake God.
We go.
He was working for Satan.
So that probably is what they get, but that's a no true Scotsman. But you're right. That is what they're going to say, and it's stupid. I was coming in from Beamsy.
Satan can do magic too, but Satan's magic is not as good as God's magic. Because remember, Amy, in the story when Moses put his stick on the ground and it turned into a snake, and then the Pharaoh's magicians working for Satan. They put their sticks on the ground and turned to snakes. And what happened? The snake from Moses, he ate the other snakes because they're God snakes, and God snakes are better than Satan's snakes.
God snakes. So, I know. He had the strongest snake. His snake was larger and thicker. Speaking of larger and thicker, Beamsy once says that a way to deal with the "are you related to" is to say it correctly. No, we share a common ancestor, but not a common relation, in the same way that I share a common ancestor with you, but we are not related. That is a good distinction.
Yeah.
For the lay people, I think people understand, but I think you also have a distinction there that I think is noteworthy.
People have tried that with him before.
Well, I think that we have a methodology that will overcome him because we are, I hate to say this, we're comedians, James. Not to like put the nose on the thing, but half his shtick is being a comedian. Like that is, I swear, he wanted to be a Christian comedian. He missed his calling. Exactly. And so I think that the fact that he can't get to us with a lot of these digs, I remember him trying to take a dig at you. And something about was it divorce or something?
Yeah, he's like, James, are you married? I say I'm divorced, Kent. We're in this, and he shut up about that real quick.
Exactly.
I've only been divorced once. He's been divorced 3 times. So yeah.
Beamsy says no, it's not been tried. Remind me when we do it during the day, and I'll try to. We'll see how it works.
Because Atheist Jr. one time, Ken asked him, AJ, are you related to a frog? And he said he was saying no. And I think he tried to explain that, like the way you're asking it, no. But I don't know. It didn't really go anywhere, but I don't know. Maybe not the exact same.
I want to ask him about if there's 6 layers of evolution. Is it just believing one means that evolution's true? Someone's had to have tried that a million times, but that always confused me. It would be like trying to say, well, these 6 different types of evolution, and he does that. Wouldn't, if any one of them exists, doesn't that mean evolution exists? Every one of the evolutions that he goes into, they're all real and they exist. Now, it's a Gish Gallop and it goes over like 6 different subjects instead of just biological evolution. But like cosmic evolution is real. Like it's a true thing. It shouldn't be what we're talking about, but it's real.
To obfuscate, but yeah. Stellar star formation, yeah, that's real. But well, I mean, his thing is, so we can say, oh, have you ever seen a star form, Amy? And you can say no, but we see the processes that happen. It just takes a long time, more than then it's not science. So no, it's science. You just don't want to.
Still science.
You don't want to look at the information in front of you and connect the dots and make logical, reasonable inferences because it goes against your book. But the rest of us, we don't have to pretend we don't know what we know because it contradicts your Iron Age, Bronze Age fables.
Yes, we don't have to listen to theology from 3.5 thousand years ago plus. 2,000 is the young version in the Old Testament. Oh my! What's up, Stephanie Helms?
We could ask 4-year-olds which animals are related, and they would be able to tell you. Yeah, that's another thing he likes to do. Like that the biologists, forget them. For the people who study this for a living,
have actual degrees.
Let's ask some 4-year-olds. Let's ask them what they think, and we'll just go with whatever the 4-year-olds think. Great
Clockwork
idea,
Rex? And so, James, we'll start doing. I'm about to be right back for just a second, and then we'll start maybe doing shout outs. It'll be the second half of the show. But yeah, any other thoughts? It sounds like you actually still got some things on your mind. We are rearing up to have a fun conversation with Kent Hoven.
Well, I just think like he gives it up because he's fine with what he calls microevolution, reproduction with variation, which is the same exact mechanism that evolution works by. He just doesn't want to extrapolate it out more than a few thousand years. Well, unfortunately for him, we do have that time. We have billions of years. And if organisms keep changing, they're going to keep changing. They're not going to stay within whatever he defines as these limits that he likes to imagine there are. But yeah, this would be like my 4th or 5th round with Ken. But yeah, it'll have Amy there this time. It'll be a lot of fun. Anyway. Asperton. Well, hope everybody's doing good tonight. We've been gone for a few days. Actually a week we've been gone. We had a convergence of things that prevented us from doing shows, but hopefully we'll get a few done this week before we have the debate next Thursday. And yeah. Although the format of the debate's changed, like it's a shorter debate segment now with an open mic at the end, which I guess that's SFT trying to capitalize on the debate, and it's like a debate and an after show. So people don't have to go to another channel; they can just come to his channel for the after show. But whatever. But he admits that evolution happens. He just doesn't think we should connect the dots and see what's right in front of us. He just obfuscates, but that's all that he really has. But I'm sure Amy will be able to put together a good presentation. She always does a good job with that. Oh boy. Who's that with the K in chat? Getting wild out there. It's getting wild. Oh boy. Look at that buttercup.
Yes, it was. Woohoo! Actually, give me one more second. But we are asking us anything or saying something funny. And
Cafe, DMT.
What is up, Cafe?
DMT.
It's raining DMT.
Oh,
had good experiences on DMT. One or two bad, mostly good.
Ball. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go, Peebo.
Mm-hmm. Say something funny. You're up for president. Oh no, I knew he could win from 2016. Had not a doubt. Because he was a celebrity. That's why he will win the Republican election.
Nomination?
Or the nomination.
Well, I don't think so, but then again, nobody thought last time he would, so hey, you never know, right?
It is just the power of celebrity. It is just the power of people knowing who your name is. There's almost nothing stronger.
Yeah, there you go, Peebo.
But yes, I'm also looking forward to this debate. You know, I really just want to.
Amaretto out there. Good to see Amaretto.
What's up, Amaretto? I don't think that DeSantis is going to win. I know that he is the second guy vying for it. But I just don't think that Trump is out of their system yet. I think that he just still has too much sway, and it is hard when you have to kowtow to an almost incumbent. When you can't upset this person. Trump doesn't have to win over DeSantis voters. He doesn't have to win over Chris Christie voters. He doesn't have to. Just got to go out there and rant. As far as I could tell, that's what most of his things have ever been.
Well, like I said, they're just going to keep indicting him every month until the election. So,
to have a president just be interesting. Well, not interesting in a negative way. Horrible to see someone pardon themselves, and it would happen. Don't mean to swing so much into politics. We have been recently. James, I feel like they have been forcing my hand. They've been trying to pull me in.
They've been trying to get your hand off the girl deck.
Exactly.
It's got a tight grip on, but they're forcing your hand.
Because what it is it's just a symptom, and I don't want to sit here and just worry about the symptom. Like, I think there's a lot of amazing transgender advocates just for being trans. I think it's needed. I think that they are doing, I can't say the Lord's work, the intellectual good work. I just think that our job, you as your straight white male self and me as my queer whatever self, my best job to actually be an advocate for not only myself, but for other LGBTQ people, is to go for the root of the problem, which is, James, it's the Desert Trilogy, plus the expansion packs.
Yeah, that's the root of the problem, the beast in the middle.
I mean, we sometimes get flack. Why do you pick so much on Christianity? Well, I mean, we got a lot of Christians.
Have to deal with 90% of the time. Yeah, I mean, hey.
Can't blame McDonald's for selling hamburgers, but they also do have chicken sandwiches. And so if you'd like to see our videos criticizing the Torah or the Quran, go check that out as well.
Well, they used to have, before COVID, McDonald's had all-day breakfast. And I always thought it was funny that McDonald's sells more hamburgers than anyone else in the world, right? But you could go there 24 hours a day and get an Egg McMuffin or a sausage biscuit. But if you went there for a burger before 11 a.m., they'll look at you like you have two heads. Like, what? We're not serving that right now. We only serving breakfast.
But I used to have a joke that if you technically serve burgers from 12 to 6 a.m. and then you serve breakfast all day, doesn't that technically make you a breakfast joint that also sometimes sell hamburgers?
Yeah, no. That's the thing. You could get it breakfast 24/7.
Listen,
not lunch.
Our bands, we were being too hard on McDonald's because look what happened. Now we cannot get breakfast whenever we want. Okay? We cannot get our breakfast 24/7.
You can't go to Walmart at 2 a.m. anymore.
James, I went to a McDonald's at a specific one. I shouldn't even be going hard on them because I'm sure it's just the specific one. I've been to other ones that have, but I asked for a cup of water. And they're like, we haven't been doing that since COVID. I'm like, what? And I thought about the logistics of it. That makes no goddamn sense.
You can see
Makes
Trump
no goddamn sense.
being arrested by Ronald McDonald next to the Hamburglar.
Sending so much
Grimace
love.
is the judge.
But also sending love. A holy moly, and now I have to, because I get to do a dance.
Do it, Amy, do it.
A $20 super chat coming in from Native Atheist.
Thanks, Native.
Who is sending thanks, Amy. And I just have to also say,
work it for
the super chat. I know. I was thinking. Remember when twerking was a thing?
Remember also, when the Macarena was a thing? You're a 1980s.
Yo, I also have just been thinking about because working on that bit and everything, but the whole LGBT issue should have been popular when it was Maya.
Oh,
Let's see. Yeah.
15 years ago.
Well, thank you so very much, Native Atheists, for all of the love and support that you're sending us. We are sending it right back to you. This is Ask Us Anything or Say Something Funny, the show where Patreons, channel members, or super chatters, super channelers, but also super chatters get highlighted on the show. Just send them all the love and support. Exactly. When that was popular, was when we were having a battle against gay rights. When drag racing. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Back when drag racers, they were being discriminated against.
When the
Get out of here. We don't accept this type of driving.
The Osbournes were on TV every night.
But drag queens were already normalized by then. At this point, it's 20 years. Transgenders have been, I said, Jerry
Google
Springer.
it, spooky.
Been a while. What's he saying?
Twerking. Remind me of what that is. That's like when I asked a week ago, Ultimated to Google thigh gap. And he did.
Oh my. He did. It's too...
That broke it.
You say he did, but no. That's what I mean when I say he gives us too much good community.
Right.
He's sitting there with his accent.
He works with us, yeah.
Let's check out thigh gap.
Oh, what was that? I'm not familiar with that.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with that term, thigh gap.
Not familiar. That's okay. You need to actually spread your legs open and back. And open and back. That's right, Ultimated. You're getting it.
God can ejaculate as much as he wants. That's no problem for God. He can do as much as a horse, more than a horse. Or
yes.
Only a little bit.
But just once again, not to keep on harping on the entire identity politics thing that we keep on getting. But Drag Queen Story Hour has been a thing in bougie California for 20 years. Not in a Bible Belt where they're probably not funding, the K through 12 education system. They have to buy, basically they're sitting there smoking cigarettes because they have to buy pencils for their kids. But yes, somewhere in a well-funded state, they have been doing Drag Queen Story Hour where the books basically end like every Pixar movie. Little Johnny wasn't accepted because he was different. And all the kids were fucking douchebags. And you know what? It turns out by the end of the story, little Johnny, he was all right to like himself on the inside. Wow. or it's like at the end of the story, and then it turns out by the power of love and friendship, I think that's also that fucking the Pony Show, but by the power of love and friendship, we're able to solve problems. And then what happens is the conservative religious people, you can't just say, because it really is the religious. They're coming after your children. No, that's the religious for the past thousands of years, as far as I can tell. And yeah, no, and I'm being a little bit hyperbolic. There was drag queen story hour in a lot of in cities and a lot of places, but I guess my point of it all is that we should be lucky enough to have drag queen story. Your child, if they are getting these programs, it means that they are actually getting a well-funded education, and that they're probably actually learning not only drag queen story hour, but they are probably learning about the solar system, and they are probably making algebraic statements and how to read and write, because it is coming from a community that cares about their citizens and their children. And so the irony is that
they get God out of the classroom. They kicking Jesus out of the schools.
Yes, and that is what we're trying to do.
That's why we got school shootings and kids acting like animals, because they took prayer out of the schools. 12-year-olds having babies just like in the Bible,
and we'll get super spicy. I'll talk about that for like a half second. I've talked about it a million times. Also, what is up, Clockwork Rex? This is not an open panel, which is why I should have probably shared this in the other. When I do it in Discord, I have like two things: to join a live stream and like to share your content. But this is just a love letter to our supporters, all of our Patreons, all of our channel members, as well as all of the people who send in super chats, and our supporters and viewers. Everyone's just having a good time.
Bounceable buns.
But yes, we have a school shooting problem because we have a horrific bullying problem in this country, paired with it's not just the easy access to weapons. It is the pairing of a darkness within American culture that has developed after a pattern after Columbine. And so
it became a social phenomenon. Yeah.
Yes. And so it became like apple pie. And so it's actually going to take some sort of commitment to stop it and to address that problem. Do liberals and conservatives actually have to come together to care about children? Oh my goodness. But James, we have to talk about, whether a tranny can pee somewhere. Probably. That's probably way more important.
Oh, we had to change in the locker room with Leah Thomas because I'm 22 and I've never had my clothes off around anybody with a penis before. It's just so degrading.
See, what I can't understand, it's like a segue, but the same thing. I can't, like, from a capitalistic standpoint, I can't understand why you would sell a lot of, like, garments for transgender women that would tuck. However, as a transgender woman, I know that, if they're going to sell it, it's a useful product.
Well,
hell, why shouldn't I?
Yeah, you'd think, because it's a lot less than 1% of the population. But at the same time, if they don't like it, then hey, well, no tuck.
And then a final note on that. But then why get angry? Why get angry?
Get tight Speedos.
Exactly. I don't understand much of the equation. I actually understand why they're doing that. Target is trying to say, we are a trendy corporation that we're cool.
No,
we
we're
understand
not
and an ally.
we are like so woke. We're like woke of the woke. And,
Which, James, here's the thing. I'm getting like I shit on that because it's the least thing to do, and yet, my goodness, like I said, not to harp back to it, the Bud Light. They could have. You could have defended my girl there, because she had no defense. No defense.
And that's what I was saying last time. Like, as they were disavowing her, stabbing her in the back, the person next to that person was writing up the apology that they're going to give out in a year and a half, 2 years. They're going to say, "Oh, we're sorry, we didn't fulfill our values and our commitment to stand by, a brand ambassador, and we'll do better going forward."
Well, exactly, because I hate to use this phrase. They hate this. The right and the wrong side of history, and it's generally that's just a way of saying like who was and wasn't an asshole. If we could just be the politically incorrect version of that, but
it's based on the current.
Sure. The version. And it pisses me off because. Do I have to now defend Bud Light? They're now all going to see it as a gay beer. Like, at least for the next few months here or whatever, it's going to be banter and stuff. But
they'll wear it as a badge of honor in a couple of years. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, well, that's my thing. It's like, but gays aren't going to drink. I don't think more gay people are going to drink Bud Light. It's not going to be sold more in like gay clubs. You're drinking that Bud Light. You support the LGBTQ. No, because I drink a drink that is frou-frou. Because that is, by its nature, I want to drink something, I don't know, tastes good.
I can't say Bud Light tastes bad. It just really doesn't have
no.
Taste.
Let me tell you something.
All.
I don't want to drink Breadwater. Now listen, I like Breadwater if you put a fruit in it.
Yeah, beer is
if you make me drink a Breadwater and it has a frou-frou in it, and once again, I'm not just saying this for maybe I am saying. I guess I can't. I don't know if I am saying this. So it's a even though we know the chicken and egg thing, the egg as a mechanism came first, but I don't know if it's because I'm LGBTQ that I don't want to. Though I do find it fascinating. Because once again, the light version has to be a little bit gayer, right? Can we all agree? This is another point of my bit that I'm creating. Because you can't say that Diet Coke is straighter than Coke, right? You can't say that.
Could you?
Maybe you could. Oh my goodness, James. Are we laughing? Where's puns? Cancel my subscription to the resurrection. Signed, Jim Morrison. Not to get too deep, but I've been thinking, and to get like once again, like, man, James, you don't know how deep I am. It's just layers and layers under here. I've been noticing just how like deadly the pacifistic outview on life is. Many pacifists out there. Murdered. Just putting that out there. Just Gandhi and Martin Luther King. And people sometimes don't like this, but when I put up people like JFK and just people who, let Malcolm X the moment that he decided to not be racist. Pacifism, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Shields. Buy them. Because I'm a merchant. Well, I'm a merchant of doubt, really, and I still think that you should have self-defense.
A merchant of doubt, a minister of death, praying for war.
I am. It's complicated because I consider myself a pacifist, but I understand why. Well, war is such a complicated issue. Yeah, JFK wasn't a pacifist. He was a
Well,
liberal, though.
I guess
Every time I bring him up, there's generally.
I think he was quite moderate by today's standards. I don't think he was hard liberal,
But I do find that the pacifistic, just because you are vying for peace, many people actually get pissed off by that.
I mean, he really handled the missile crisis. That could have gone south in a quick, and he really handled that the right way. It's just the CIA didn't really like him for what happened with the Bay of Pigs. He didn't want to risk launching a full-scale war in Cuba. He kind of let their guys get slaughtered on the beach, which kind of pissed them off. But at the same time, I guess they knew what they were getting themselves into. So,
yeah.
It's politics.
It's politics. It gets more complicated. Also, I agree with Jester. Just because you're a pacifist doesn't mean you don't have to fight. If anything, it's a good reason to fight. To fight to defend the people that you love. Sinister. I think that we need to better utilize our on the spectrum people. I think we're just starting to. I think growing in different private sectors, but
I think autism. I'm convinced that it is at least in some way a form of human evolution. That it's going to. Now they'll say, "Oh, you think that's evil?" Well, no, the extreme forms of it, like the people who are, because it's a spectrum. The people who are very far off, they have some issues, and it's not that they're bad people, but society is not quite designed for that yet. But I do think it's going to move a little bit in that direction. I think if you look at society, 500 years from now, people will not be as social. They'll be more introspective, more, more quiet, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think it may be, like you were saying, may be a direction that humanity is heading. I need to make everything about me, and so I've dated people on the spectrum, and I'm sure this is not for everybody, but they've always been fantastic individuals that have in weird ways have been like they have a charisma to them that was very alluring, even though they had some social things that were very awkward. And yet when you got over those,
right.
Yes. And so, yeah.
I think in some ways their brains are actually more efficient. And I think at processing information, I think that's why they tend to get overloaded so quick, because they're in some ways they're more efficient at processing things. They get overloaded with it quick. I mean, which is why I say, imagine, and if you're not used to that, I guess it could be a lot. I wouldn't want to have the sense of smell of a dog, for instance. I mean, imagine that. You could be on the other side of the house and you can still smell the litter box like you're inside of it.
That would not be fun.
Somebody farts 2 houses over and you smell it. I mean, that would be kind of overloading.
It is very also interesting how much our brains seem to be, well, we get so much data coming from our eyes.
Snarky on occasion, I bet.
Purpose of notice. Every once in a while, right? Once or twice. But yes, we are asking us anything or saying something funny. I think let's start to do shout outs, and then we'll go on for another, little while if you are, however, an apologist, please come on and just, tag us with our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And we'll say hi.
Well, speaking of autistic people, though, on Wednesday, we had some hearings in Congress about the UFO UAP issue, and the main witness in that, the whistleblower, is on the autism spectrum. David Grush. That's actually been something people have pointed out, like as a bad thing, like that's because he's on the spectrum, so therefore he's not as reliable, or he's very gullible. He'll believe anything. He doesn't pick up on those social cues.
I have heard people do attacks like that in our panel, in our live shows, where they have tried to negate people's arguments because of them being on the spectrum. Yeah.
That was actually quite an interesting hearing. We didn't really get a lot of new information come out because most of it's been in the public sphere already, but just the fact that it's before Congress under oath, it gives it a lot more gravitas than just something more like a tabloid piece or just something in the media. Because the only person who can go to Congress and blatantly lie without fear of prosecution is Roger Clemens, and I don't think any of them are Roger Clemens, so they'd be in trouble if they're lying.
James, but what if I am? But sending so much love. Yeah, I will say, speaking of mental health, we do get individuals that we think deal with the mental health spectrum. The problem is, how should we parse this out, James? The problem is that a lot of them tend to be spicy and loud and try to veer for attention through their version. I hate to tie it to theology because it's not. Well, their versions seem to be tied to theology, but I don't want to imply that that mental illness comes from theism. But the bombing, the individual that thinks we're going to get nuked and having sex with God. James, how does a gentleman who thinks that they think that they are a well-respected, and they probably are a well-respected member of the community. They probably take out their trash. They probably go to PTA meetings. They probably change the milk out of the refrigerator if it's going bad. But then they also think that they have had sex to completion with demons. How are both of these sentences possible?
Yeah, it's religion. I think is it's a unique thing about people's psyche and character, how they're able to function regularly, even though they hold such crazy beliefs on some things.
Can I also tell you, and this is just my hypothesis that I'm pulling out with no data, just my feeling, my gut feeling, is that the Christians, just like what the Mormons must feel when they're surrounded by Mormons, because they have, in their opinion, taken over, everyone around them is Christian, they just think that it's normal. And so even though the beliefs are crazy, they have this, I just need to go around and do everything out about my day because, James, it is normal for a guy 2,000 years ago to come back from the dead 72 hours after decomposition, and then he will reign in heaven and will one day come back to bring us to have a second coming.
Well, I mean, I think that's one of the reasons we get a lot of the a lot of flack, like a lot of them don't like what we do, is because even though we're not busting down the church doors and telling them they're all delusional and crazy, typically you have to come to us if you want to hear our opinion. But it's like they want everybody to be on the same page because with their beliefs, because it helps them maybe reinforce their own doubts. Like if everybody thinks this is true, then it's probably true, right? I mean, hey, you think you're down with whole Jesus thing? You think it makes sense, right? Right? What about you? You died for your sins. Yeah, you
Makes
get
sense.
it. It makes sense, right? Doesn't it make sense? You, hey, guy, are you a sinner? Did Jesus die? Yeah. See, oh, okay, all right, it makes sense. They can't rationalize it. They can't make it make sense to themselves. But well, hey, everybody else thinks it makes sense. So I mean,
So
it must. Yeah.
But also just sending love out to Native Atheist and Stephanie, who I think gave us a shout out from her channel, and sending so much love to both of them. But with that,
we appreciate the support.
With that, let's get into our supporters, because this is a love letter to them. And so we are sending love both to all of our channel members. You can become a channel member by hitting that join button. And we have a badge system that starts with just a small amount of technology and slowly but surely evolves into more sophisticated
We don't need
means.
those stinking badges. Well, yeah, you do need a badge. You'll want it.
Pokemon Go. Oh my god, James, I'm old enough that I came out when the first Pokemon hit the scene.
Really?
And yeah, I was playing Blue and Red. And then Yellow came out and I was like, what?
What?
Now I realize that probably makes me old. But that's okay, James. That is okay. I haven't played a Pokemon in years though. I should try it. I'm old enough that I confiscated Pokemon cards when I was in school from someone who it was not their own, and they were two friends, as we call them, were fighting over them. But it's amazing that they have been able to. They're still, able to sell their business model. Keeping going. Anyway, speaking of it, we also have our Patreon at patreon.com/Amy Newman. We're trying to get to 200. I'm sending it back in there, and I'm going to even post it. Can't see it. Gizmo says hi. Podcast sponsored by cats. It's being slow, so I can't see the fact that I posted it. Gosh darn it. Anyway, sending so much love. Dogs have owners. Cats have staff. That is funny. Yeah, I've also heard once the dogs look up to you and cats look down at you. But both statements pretty true. And with that, sending also love to our supporters like davegar, reminding us that the Earth is kind of thick, kind of round, kind of 4.5 billion years old. Yes. Mark Reid has been doing lovely, as well as Ember did lovely debate recently on Modern Day Debate.
Talk about that
on the flat Earth.
Age of the Earth.
Was it the Age? I also know they did a flat Earth.
No, they did flat Earth.
Oh, and so
wasn't Matt Dillahunty on last night? I didn't get to see it.
Send out love to Matt Dillahunty, who probably did amazing. I always like him because he is. We don't have a Christopher Hitchens, and although Matt has a softer side to him, I think we all agree. Even though it's like trying to hate James, I'm allowed to say Bill Burr. At least I'm contracted actually to say Bill Burr once.
You got it.
But what would be Bill Burr be with that his anger? Matt sometimes gets
go.
shit for the fact that, he sometimes gets a little bit angry. And yet, I think that's why we all love him. Because sometimes we want to we get angry at these people, these charlatans, and we want to call them out, and we can't. And so it does feel a little bit empowering to... we can't always yell at people, yet sometimes, con artists need to be called con artists, every once in a while, right, James? It's kind of the theme of the show here.
Kind of the truth.
So sending love. Go check out all of those fantastic atheist content creators. You should be checking out The Line. You should be checking out Jimmy. I should contact them. They're good people. I don't know. There's a lot of great shows out there. Sending love to also, because Jimmy contacted me once to ask if Haley was crazy enough. How should I phrase this? To make sure that she was stable enough to have a conversation with. I kind of laughed at the time and was like, yes, because she is stable enough to have a conversation. But my gosh, I do remember all of the stuff that she also did to me. Sending love to her out there, if she is out there. Because I saw her out there on Discord having a conversation about why we don't pick. She must have become a Christian, because there was like a why do we only pick on Christians? James, I'm gonna have to do a magic trick to prove our cards. I'm gonna hold on. Are you ready for it?
We're not ready.
Do you see this sheet of paper?
What about it?
All right. Well, this is Muhammad, right there.
What about him?
The Muhammad,
hey,
not
Mo.
a Muhammad. I want to point out it's the Mo. You will also see that in this picture he is happy. Do you know why, James?
No, I don't know why.
He was able to get his coffee in the morning. Everyone's happy when they get their coffee in the morning. Anyway, what are we talking about? Blasphemy is such an interesting concept. We were watching, what is it, with the Jerry Seinfeld and the Larry David. I wanted to get extra on there. As I hit the mic. It's improv, kind of, because they have it's plotted out, but then it becomes improv. Curb Your Enthusiasm. I remembered the show and I completely forgot because he was trying to make a production of Fatwa. That was the name of the play.
Oh, I remember.
As if they were trying to make it.
Randolph had several fatwas against troll accounts of his.
See, life goals, James. Life goals.
Yeah.
I just don't know why I can't too get the Ayatollah of Iran. Okay. Iran's going through some positive turmoil. I hate to say some growing pains. They've been having some counter-revolutionary, counter-religious backing, some pro-feminine pro. I hate when we call ourselves Western. I actually like the term secular. I'm gonna cough. Because we're just what you get when religion starts to die away. It's not like we have Western physics. It's just we accept the Big Bang Theory because the Christians here haven't gained control of that department. And so once you get religion to be detangled from your government system, you just tend to have, something like us. You tend to have a religious system. Well, there's still problems with Turkey, but, you at least start to get a Constantinople that becomes an Istanbul that is now a secular Turkey. See how that works? It's a pipeline, James. We have a pipeline. Do. I believe I can. Wrong song. Anyway, sending love to Davegar. Sending love to the one, the lovely, the fabulous, the Rachel Holen.
Rachel. Only
Sending
a few.
love.
Okay, we got it, Randolph.
What is Randolph saying?
It's only a few of his troll accounts.
Only a few.
Focused on his phone.
God damn it. I do trolling every once in a while, and it's with this account. God damn it, James. We need to go to more Dawa channels.
Do we?
They tend to be, I hate to say, you have to have a not an A game, but they are like oftentimes these circles with the Muslims is they remind me of presuppositionalists. Is their intended goal is to be the one asking questions, and really they don't really care what your intended subject is. It's going to be why you don't believe in God. Because I try to get them to give evidence for why they believe in God. That burden shifting every time. And it's early, too. I like having to throw the tennis ball back. But it just reminds me of, once again, a certain... I can't do the Darth Vader voice. Just sounds like I have sleep.
Didn't she?
Sleep apnea.
The LPP troll.
Yeah, but it's hard to troll someone that doesn't seem to exist anymore. Does LPP still do content? He's still around?
Very, very rarely.
I see Praise doing some shit. He's going after Trinitarians and all this shit. That's another thing that I find funny. Just how we were talking about non-Trinitarian, Trinitarian, all this shit. Yeah. Like, that's the type of stuff you take when you think that Christianity is sane and rational. You start to have these fights. And then he just goes about his day. I bet Praise just cleans his laundry and, washes dishes and goes to bed just thinking that it's completely normal to have a Lord and Savior. James, that phrase always gets me. I just don't think that Christians appreciate how weird and creepy it is. Just because you grow up with it. Lord and Savior. Like, if someone came up to you and said, "Hi, I'm Frank. I'm your Lord and Savior," would you not think they were crazy?
Yeah, I need you to devote your entire life to me. And, the thing is that I'll make it so that when you die, you won't really die. Okay? You won't be dead. You won't be here, but you won't be dead. You'll go somewhere else, and then you can worship me forever.
Exactly.
I mean,
and as your Lord and Savior, Frank, just please just sell those belongings. Get rid of them all.
Well, look, like you, all your hopes, dreams, everything, it's all bullshit, okay?
Nonsense.
Nothing in your life matters. Nothing means anything Your singular purpose for living, for existing, is to glorify me. It is to serve me and love me and glorify me. And that should be really all you ever think about. If you're thinking about, ever find yourself thinking about anything else, that's bad. You should refocus on serving me, doing things that make me happy, doing what I want you to do. And because then I'll love you. And if you
then
do
I'll
all that,
finally love you. I have unconditional love.
I
for
love you now,
unless...
but I love you now, but I still will have to, send you to hell if you don't do those. If you don't worship me.
I also like how the test, you can clearly tell, is bullshit. It's not like how strong am I, how powerful am I. It's, do you believe I exist? That's how you know it's bullshit. When the one test to believe getting in the club is you just I believe it. Okay, sure. Also, I send and love Tsunami. I agree with that. I view myself as not passive aggressive, but aggressive aggressive, and I like that. I feel that that's just a more formal way. It's less cowardly. And I see you go up against crap. I'll just have to send love out to her. Sending love to every woman on the internet, to every LGBTQ person and minority. And I know, seriously, I get that, the straight white men here, I love you. In fact, I'm attracted to a lot of straight white men. But I'm telling you, the waves of hate, unless I'm dull to it, and so I find it fascinating. But it does come in whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And it's this odd hate where you're like, why are you so angry? I can't explain it. Death threats are just so weird. And if you don't get them, it's like having a pet. Because when you say you have a pet and you're like, it's my baby, and you listen to that, you're like, okay, crazy lady. But it is. It's the weirdest thing, because you're having an argument about I'm trying to think of something abstract. You're having an argument about whether taxes should be increased, or you're having an argument about whether Jesus parted the Red Sea, and then just out of nowhere, just waves of hate, and you're like, my God, is there something? I feel like this is more a you thing going on.
Christ on a top. What's going on here?
Yes, but that's not to say, once again, to send love out there to all of my straight, white, heterosexual brothers and sisters. Wait. Did you just see how I worded that sentence? That's how you know the gears. Because I just said my straight white men that are men or women. Yeah. My straight white men. I understand that you can go through a lot of shit. That everyone's going through their personal shit. It's a perspective, and you can only understand. And we all, as humans, go through crap. And so, it's both of those things. It's that, I get this weird hate on the internet, and people go through depression, no matter who you are, no matter what political side, or no matter what your sexuality or biological, trans, just be you, accept who you are. That is the message. And I think that's about as hippie. That's our peak hippie moment, I think, for the podcast. Yeah.
We're maxed out.
Exactly. James, every once in a while I start talking about family, tradition, and culture. And every once in a while I start talking about how we as a world should come together right now. But this is what you get from Centris. Oh my goddess. What can I tell you?
Well, hey, I'll tell you, we start getting that alien technology, then we really will come together, Amy. There you go. We'll reverse climate change. We'll cut the cost of living by 90%. We'll eliminate poverty with 20 years.
I'm half agreed with that. I completely understand why that may be the chance. But I am under the impression that we are going to be, and this is Amyology right here, okay? Is that things are going to be mostly the same for a very long time. And that, I guess it would depend on what kind of aliens they are. Because if they're like us, then they're going to be as fractured as us, and then...
I don't think they would be able to traverse the galaxy if they were like
that.
us.
Is also true. I hope that would be the case, that we get over our shit. I don't think that's why we have left low Earth orbit very often. That's
right.
Is because
they probably could, Victoria.
What is up, my lord? It is their first time here, and welcome to the show. This is our Q&A show for our supporters, for all of our Patreon's channel members. However, our supporters, our followers of the show, are all just willing and able. That was a weird way to phrase it. They're all here to have fun. We're here to share it because this is a community channel. So we're just having some fun. We're probably going to be on for about 20 to 30 more minutes, and then we're going to be ducking out. But it's been fun. What's up, Blaster Master? What's up, Sven? And everybody. We need to support STEM. But it makes complete sense to me why we haven't left low Earth orbit, as frustrating as it has. It is right now. Because we still burn things for energy. We still burn corpses. And they hate that it's being a little bit hyperbolic. But in essence, we are burning corpses to go to space, which is great. Look, I'm not hating on the fact that we needed to start there, just like we have to do fossil fuels right now. But
they would take that, Amy, what you just said, because they do this. They'll be like, so you're conceding that we never went to the moon because you just said we can't get out of low Earth orbit, right?
No, we go. No. Yeah. I didn't say that we didn't leave low Earth orbit. Low Earth orbit is where that we tend to be stuck. We've went to the moon multiple times.
Just imagine though that in our lifetimes, in our parents' lifetimes they did that, but in ours, no. Humans have never been off low Earth orbit.
But it's multiple things. It's not just the hippie thing. It's the hippie thing. It's because the political thing. I get multiple people who will go, well, why should we be spending money on we have all these James, we need to think about transgender women, sports, and peeing in locker rooms all at once, all together. Why do we need to think about space? And it's like, because that is actually the future of our society, of our species, of the planet. But besides that, nothing else.
Look, it's not like, how North Korea spends 90% of whatever money it gets on the military, and so the people starve. Not saying do that, just pump everything into NASA.
Are you trying to say that you criticize not only rocket, you make fun of potato? How dare you?
Yeah, there you go. But, yeah.
But it's okay.
Hey, we get the 0-point energy that these UAPs use. We'll all get this, a little box that we keep in our homes that'll power our homes for free. It sounds like a pipe dream, probably, but hey.
Well, I think we're eventually going to move to where solar panels are built into the roofs, the cylinders themselves. Not only are they not going to be bulky, they are going to be just built into the materials. And so they're going to be these nice, efficient, everywhere charging. As long as you are within light, we're going to be using electricity, not because, once again, the peace hippie thing, but because it turns on and goes faster. Literally, it's going to be a market. Once again, because we don't generally do the right thing unless it serves the bottom line. James, save the whales, save the quails, save
the whales for Ken Hoven.
Save this.
Continue to do research on their penises.
That's right. Save this whale mail. Yes, but when we're making more rocket ships and not.
Speaking of that, manatees, Amy.
Man, oh, God damn it. See, I feel bad. Let me tell you. Here we go. Here you go. I'm going to do it. I'm going to stand up for him because I listened to him and he feels bad. And he feels like no one does.
What?
So here you go. Well, he felt like he got, people made fun of him. Either, I forget whether it was during his atheist stage or his Christian stage. He's lightly been changing his content. He hasn't been doing a transgender. It's sad that I know who you're about to talk about just by the insult.
Actually, I was talking about real manatees, but continue.
Really? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
See? It's been on the back of my mind. See, now I feel bad.
You've been wondering about Brett? No, but I can empathize.
I watch his content because we had a connection once. And then it's been kind of. Well, I appreciate any theist who thinks that their God is evil, that can just, that they're like, listen, I'm convinced, but I look at the evidence and I think he's not a good guy. Woo! Sending love, my lord. I see out there he's saying he believes in the. I believe there is not a biblical God. I think no God. There's not a biblical God. I think no God in all probability. There you go. We are just a skeptical channel. We here at the Skeptic and Ranting community are just trying to figure out. Well, we're merchants of doubt, so we're just trying to figure out the questions in life, and it's the people who just tend to seem to be so sure of themselves that I get worried about. Now, listen, if it's your field of expertise, then you should be defending it and you should be putting emphasis on it. But certain things, if you don't know the answer, then you shouldn't be defending an answer, right? That just seems to go without saying.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Don't claim you know things you don't know.
But yes, speaking of which, sending love. I can hear Tiptoe. Sending love, Rachel Holen. Sending love, davegar. James Wolfe. James Wolfe, we howl at the moon. Woo-hoo. We do late night podcasts. It's true. It's blue. We're going back, hopefully, to our regular schedule, if not more content. I went a little crazy this week. James, not only did I go crazy, but like all this time spent into making... I made a 45-point PowerPoint presentation into a 90-point PowerPoint presentation, which the 90-point PowerPoint presentation should have been combed back down into like a 60-point PowerPoint. That's also on the back of my head.
Like
I've been thinking about it.
Shit.
I inherited a PowerPoint presentation, as you sometimes do in
Ken Hoven's got about 16,000 PowerPoint slides.
But it has a lot of good information. They are PowerPoint presentations that come directly from the book. And so it has a lot of good information. But some of the slides were so long that they were off the page. And,
how long are they, Amy?
Oh my God, 15 feet. And... some creationists will point out about a certain whale's genitalia. But no, that, like, the graphic design and the education side just die on the inside when I see when I see that. No one learns from that. And I'm teaching a data course, a visual data course. So I had to rewrite. I had to tweak all the slides, but in doing so, and in breaking apart the slides, I doubled the lesson. And in doubling the lesson, it was just so much information. I have to prune the information, and so the next time that I teach this course, it'll be an even better lesson. And next class, hopefully, will be, because it was a good lesson. I enjoyed it. I thought that the kids learned a lot. But you don't want to. I catch myself doing that. They're not kids. They're full-grown adults. Full-grown adults.
They're your kids.
They're my kids. But I went into just good methodologies in how to create some bar graphs. My favorite of which, Illustrator. I am a graphic design person. I am a Adobe person, and so if you would like a great way to create a whole bunch of graphs easily, Illustrator, ladies and gentlemen.
Adobe
Illustrator. And you can get the program if you are a student or teacher for $30 a month. You can get all the programs. And if you are just a lay person, just an anybody, $50 a month. Not that bad. They used to be thousands of dollars. Okay, if you want to hop into the graphic design scene or film scene, post-production scene. Here. Listen, I used to be much more of a black hat. Now I've become more of a gray, almost a white hat. As far as the university is concerned, I am a white hat.
Becoming a superhero for the, like you wear a cape, in the middle of the cape is the copyright logo.
I like to think that I have a superhero or a supervillain level of degrees. Now, I didn't mean
Captain Copyright.
I didn't mean to get that many degrees. I got that many degrees because I'll use that word, as a child, I didn't understand math, I think is the technical term, and the other term is money. And so I'm just gonna shuffle papers. All right, what were we talking about? You should still get an education. I support going to academia. But if you
have more in student loans than you're worth, so therefore you're worthless.
It is. So it is like a weird it's a weird insult, but you can't get it. You can't let it drag you. You can't hold it in the back of your mind like that he actually thinks he's a doctor and all this. And I'm just we're probably going to be because when we're to people's faces, you generally don't spit on them. We're going to be cordial. We're going to call him Kent Hoven probably, but we're not going to call him, as I like to refer to him, as K764T. Yes.
I actually like to remind him that he has a doctorate when he plays dumb, like when he pretends like he doesn't.
No, you go the other direction. I've heard you go.
Kent, yes. You have a doctorate degree. Are you telling me you don't understand this?
Yes, you go the exact other direction, but that's also funny, and so that is also acceptable because you go, Dr. Kent Hoven. Come on, even you don't know something.
You really don't understand this, Kat.
You have a doctorate in basket weaving theology. I keep on trying to make that joke, but it's not. Basket weaving is an actual skill set. You get a basket when you're done, James. I can't make fun of it.
I have a doctorate in whale penology. I did a 47-page dissertation.
Do you know what he did his thesis on?
Whales. Yeah, I mean,
he did something.
It was on creationism. It started off with, "Hello, my name is Ken Hoven."
Hello, my name is Kitty. Anyway,
it was done before the era of spell check, and so early 90s.
I just want to know what, generally speaking, so your associates, you have learned the foundations of your field that you're trying to get into. With your bachelor's, you now have the epistemological toolkit. You now have the tools you need, the knowledge you need to go out and work in your field.
Do actual work.
With the master's, you are, as the name implies, you are trying to master. Oftentimes it has either a specialty or you are trying to go into the nuance. You know every aspect of the field. And of course, what are we trying to do with our PhD, James? Well, not always, but generally with a PhD, you're trying to move the field forward. You are trying to pose your hypothesis, if not try to come up with your own theory, to move the field, as I keep on using that word, the field of physics of agriculture, all of these types you could have a thesis in.
Whale penises.
And so thus it does bring up the question, what field did Ken Hoven push forward? I would love to know what he has added to society besides the numerous...
Christian education is like the title of his degree. So.
Oh, I'm sure he could probably say, what did you learn? Check out DVD number 5, James.
We did 27,000 reasons why evolution is stupid. Buy my DVD.
Buy my DVD.
VHS tape. I think we still have those available. Yeah, Porpoise. Spell check's been around. Not on a typewriter though. I think he typed it up on an old typewriter.
And if you're doing your thesis, I'm sorry, but you would have someone frickin' spell check it for you. If it was a real thesis, I'm sorry. I hate to not do
this is like the sub,
a no true Scotsman, but there are
professional work.
But there are priests and pastors who have contributed to the realm of science. As is often pointed out, there was a priest that helped. Wasn't the first. Oftentimes they're kind of like a priest invented the Big Bang. It was no, he gave a piece of knowledge using scientific instruments and using science because they were funded. And so you can be a theist and use science, but
a priest can still do science.
If you are, once again, pretty sure his PhD was in how Jesus had a big old dilladon. Not quite that, but similar. Anyway.
Longer than 15 feet, even
longer than
Jesus.
15. He was ripped. Who was that person that always you
Mary Baxter.
Jesus just sitting there lifting. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus came to me, and he is tall. He is like 6'3". He's got this long flowing hair, and he's muscles. And
yo, James, you ever hear about Revelation?
I've been drinking these protein shakes. And, from the disciples, they add their protein to it.
Gotta keep strong. It has electrolytes, James. It's what plants crave.
It's what priests crave too.
Well, that's the PG version anyway.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? Sending so much love to all of our Patreons as well.
You can't have a woman. Women can't drink electrolytes. That would be horrible.
Be a man's job.
I need electrolytes. I need some, Amy.
James, there's one way he gets not only his electrolytes, but probably protein every morning. It's like a shake. At least you have to shake it out. What were we talking?
I hate.
Shake it up. Shake it. Oh, I'm sure that's with. I'm sure he was his number one seller, number one buyer and seller. Sending so much love to Rachel. We said Rachel, she's reminding us once again, though, you shouldn't be looking for slaves from the nations around you. However, if you do, come across a really cute femboy who likes pink fuzzy cuffs, I mean, grab him. James, it's good to live in a time period where we could just celebrate femboys.
Can we? Or are we free
God
to do
bless
that?
America. We are.
Yeah.
It's odd because I sometimes get flack because I point out that we live. Well, we're living in a time period where I think that we have made significant strides to where it has made me proud. I am proud of our allies. I do want to point that out. Now, does that mean that there are not people right this second living in squalor where they are living from curable diseases and people who are being marginalized? Yes. Unfortunately, yes. And in big swaths. I guess it's just trying to hold that balance. You know, we live in a great time period, and while keeping that thought possible, we move forward, trying to build on the shoulder of giants. You can see the gears once again turning.
There you go.
It is what it is, James. You could just see though my centrism, it comes out, and you can hear I'm starting to own it, the liberalism. Though these are all one-word things that I can own, because a liberal to me is a centrist. It means that I could sit here on one side and be like, I actually can understand the conservatives and I can understand the how should I say this? The libertarians, the conservatives, and I can understand the socialists and the communists. I understand some of the points that they make, and yet somehow, from viewing all of these sides, it's still kind of right there, baby.
There you go.
With freedom. It doesn't mean I'm not going to take positions on things, because I also get that flack sometimes that, you're just I was going to say a hanky-panky and a nincompoop. James, now you know we're a late-night rated R podcast.
Are we?
I don't mean to curse like that. But, you know, it is just what it is. Sending so much love to all of our supporters, including because we focus on religion. You know, we can't help it. We also get flack sometimes for that being our number one thing. We do cover other superstitions. I actually wish that we would cover more, because we should counter some of the, I hate to say New Age. We should counter, James, we should counter other superstitions. We should counter astrology. We should, what is the water thing where they dilute?
Dowsing? Or
dowsing and homeopathy. Yeah. And what has also been normalized that it bothers me in the back of my head because I just have to sit there and smile. Chiropractic.
There you go, chiropractic.
It does. It pisses me off because you my dad is a physical therapist. Okay? I have seen him, though mostly through the stories that he has told me. He has helped people walk after they thought that they couldn't. They had motorcycle accidents and they never thought they were going to walk again. My dad, through steady dedication, was able to help them walk again. Okay? And so I just want to appreciate that and go after the con artists out there. It's just those little subtle things.
A lot of chiropractors, they do get into that physical therapy. They kind of do they're like, oh, I'm a physical therapist, but I'm also a chiropractor.
Sure, and you have to play up yes. And so, is stretching healthy for you?
Massage therapy.
Is massaging you? Yes. When you massage someone, you are increasing blood flow, if I can say it. But the specific named manipulations that they do are made up and were created by someone that was so woo-filled that if they focused on that guy,
if you have back pain and you go to and they crack it and it feels better for a little bit, I mean, okay, but that's not a substitute for real actual healthcare, real actual medical care. Because I remember I went to a chiropractor for my back pain for maybe 6 months, 8 months, and sometimes it would feel better, sometimes but it was never better long term. And then I went to a neurologist, and they sent me for some real health care, and they found out it was a spinal cord tumor. So, yeah.
There you go. I'm so sorry, and yet I'm happy that it was science and it's always going to be, in my opinion. Maybe, James, we're just scientists, but you're going to get help from not alternative medicine, but medicine. I understand why people who have, like my epilepsy, once again, I'm allowed to say it once a podcast, there's no cure for it. And so if you have untreatable epilepsy, I understand why you would go to, my goodness, to almost anything. And yet, these people are being taken advantage of.
So you know what I was
not
like,
gonna.
I mean, the chiropractor. Not that I don't think he was trying to do harm, but you think he should have probably said, okay, maybe you should go see a regular doctor sooner. This is kind of outside my scope. But
you know my feelings on it.
Yeah.
If you want to help,
if you're dealing with the nerves and things like that, that's really into the scope of neurology. Not
best case scenario, back massage. Worst case scenario, they do something harmful to the point, and there's a spectrum of worst case scenarios. How much damage did they just now do?
Right.
And so
or people relying on it and not getting real health care, and then the problem gets worse because they're not getting it addressed. They're going about it this alternative approach.
Well, it's like taking chemotherapy and then drinking. I really don't know anything. I'm trying to make something up off the top of my head, but doing some sort of alternative medicine, that is, well, it's not okay because I think you're being conned, but it's okay to me as long as you're doing the medicine.
Or taking Kenobi's B17 pills as you're getting real therapy.
Yes.
Now, here's the funny thing, though. The person is more liable if they get better to give credit to the alternative thing. Like, oh, it was, I was doing chemo, but I was taking these seeds I got from Dinosaur Adventureland, and I really feel like it was these seeds these B17 that really helped me.
Yes, it was that cured you of all this stuff, and they make a lot of outlandish claims. Oh my goodness, I just saw this here. I can't help myself. My Lord, sending so much love, who tells us that Jesus has been dead a long time. No one has ever returned. Thank God. Oh, he's agreeing with us.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo! Sending so much love. For a hot second, I just got excited because we're happy actually to have another skeptic join the Skeptic and Ranting community. but we can't help it every time that we get theists that join. We also love the back and forth. But sending love to Sinister Porpoise, who said that physical therapy was able to help her get through the months that she could barely walk. And yeah, it's just trying to counter the woo. What if you're a student and a teacher? I think that's pretty awesome, Sinister. I think almost, and I'll say that's actually, in my opinion, that's a common thing, because I think many teachers have become just appreciative of learning and become forever students. I feel like I'm a forever student, and I know that there are many others out there. But yes, sending so much love. I think we have, and Chris Disciple sending so much love. The Skeptic and Ranting community does have some theists out there, ones that not only support the show, but we're just here to talk about our belief systems. And so sending love out there to Chris for all the love and support, and then sending a whole bunch of love out there to Ian Davenport,
Thanks, Ian.
reminding us that apologetic arguments are crap. They all suck. It doesn't matter if it's the watchmaker argument, Pascal's wager, the contingency argument, Column. My goodness, James. There's many, and they all seem like from hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, nothing new. Go figure.
And last, but certainly not least,
They're
we
still
have
quoting Thomas Aquinas, and
I know. And listen. Aristotle, Plato,
So
even
Socrates.
Thomas Aquinas. If you look, he wasn't a moron. These people.
No, he wasn't.
It's just that at a certain point, we have learned new things. More information has come in. And so you shouldn't be surprising that people in middle school should know more scientific information than people thousands of years ago. That's the way it should be.
Newton had access to even. Isaac Newton was a Christian.
Even though he believed in a bunch of other crazy stuff too.
Yeah.
Alchemy. Thank Bob. We're going to get a lot of alchemy defenders on here. It's like the one thing we should ask, someone like...
They're out there. They are out there, but they don't
See, I wonder if someone like Bubble believes in alchemy.
Probably. Rebel Masterpiece probably too. Remember Rebel, he was the one saying that chemo is bullshit and he can cure cancer.
It's one of those things that's so offensive. However, even though the offense level is up here, it's just the stupid level rises so high that it's like I can't even be offended. You just want to pat them on the head. Even, of course, cancer actually, it's made very specifically by the CIA. Didn't you know, James?
Well, just like AIDS, right?
Just like AIDS. Not only that, but I feel like the CIA and the FBI are working together to form cancer AIDS. I'd love to turn lead into gold. I know that drove him crazy, didn't it? That with the perpetual. There's a few things that are silly ideas. The perpetual motion machine.
But it is. They did actually stumble onto some science with that. I believe
it take so much to do it that it's like.
Well, it was the first element that they synthesized, I believe, was phosphorus. They got it from trying to turn urine into gold, and they ended up with by boiling it in some other they ended up getting pure synthesized phosphorus. It was the first element that they ever were able to do that, I believe. I'm not a chemist, so don't quote me.
I'd have to look that up.
Yeah. That's why.
But I mean, it is where we got chemistry.
Right.
Alchemy gave birth to chemistry, and chemistry is real.
Yeah.
And last but certainly not least, thank you so much, Ian, is Regos. Thank you, Regos, for reminding us to be skeptic. We really, that should be the next thing. Skeptic level. Because we've been high and dry to get knee deep into Joshua. But thank you so much, Regos. Thank you much, all of our supporters. And with that, I think in a moment or two, unless there's any other super chats, I think we're going to close up shop. But it's been a fantastic Ask Us Anything or Say Something Funny. Boo, boo, boo.
I'm really looking forward to this debate with Kenobi. It'll be a lot of fun.
James,
we haven't been up on the debate stage, the two of us, in a long time since
exactly. That's kind of what birthed this podcast.
Yeah.
And I am looking forward to it. I actually think we're going to feel oddly more comfortable than a regular debate.
Probably.
Does that sound crazy?
It's like how we stream, so yeah.
Exactly. And so, and the advantage of having two people, I think he thinks that by having all of these more cooks in the kitchen, it's going to, and to a degree, that has been right sometimes. I've seen sometimes on our panel where if we have 8 different atheists and like 2 theists, it's sometimes, if they're all being piled on and the question are being changed, and so the subjects are changing back and forth, it can sometimes make it look like they actually know what they're talking about because they're able to throw the ball back. Because you don't get to dig deep. It's not when you dig deep on a lot of these, because the logistics is where it falls apart. They're all good with the slogans because they say the slogans over and over and over. I'm trying to think of one. Like, you believe that we come from a fish or whatever. And so that stuff, once you go into, let's go into the logistics of how God made a fish. Oh, James, come on. This isn't about us, is it? It's really about evolution.
This is about you presenting evidence for evolution. Yeah. I'm not asking for my theory to be taught in the public schools. And, yeah.
So that's where it all falls apart. And, yeah. And so, but I don't think that's going to work.
I believe the Bible based on faith, and I think you have a religion, too. I just admit mine's a religion. You guys pretend yours is science.
And I got him to laugh left. I'm probably going to say the exact same thing I said, which is, you know what, Ken? I just appreciate that you're using the word religion in a negative sense. That just warms my heart. And look at that. We came back, all back around, James, to a summer without religion.
He's kind of lonely. He doesn't have his sidekick, Matt Powell, with him anymore to, do pacifier play. And
oh, my.
Remember, you used to have a pacifier. You would bring out sometimes as a prop.
Well, he has...
You got SpongeBob ready?
Oh, I got SpongeBob ready. I mean, that's why I mean by he used to want to be a comedian, or still does, or whatever the frig, because he has props. He does the same shtick that we do. I mean, what else? Which sometimes works. Let me tell you, when you can make people laugh, you can sometimes bring people over to their side. It's an empathetic...
Whack an atheist. Whack off an atheist.
Why? But like I said, I think that it's going to backfire because it's not a lot of cooks. It's just you and me. And we naturally... I mean, this is our shtick. We naturally play off each other to rag on religion. That's kind of the name of the game that we've been doing for a few years now, actually.
Absolutely.
So I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it. And Rejo says,
our assistant here.
Yeah, what's up, Kizzo? He always looks so happy to be here. Now he looks a little bit sleepy, but most of the time he's such a good boy.
He's like, "What's going on here? Isn't the show over? It's time for bed."
And James, it is just so interesting. Just the mammalian part of our brain, I swear we mistake them for our babies because they're just so fucking cute. I don't know what it is. It's just, Anyway, Regis
We
is...
domesticated them, but in a way, they also domesticated us.
Oh my god, not to get too geeky, okay? This is, once again, this is my... I don't know. This is like my Ilger Elbrus. I'm sure this is my really deep moment of the night. But it's... James. It's not that we save them. Most often they save us. And I know, I said that almost with like a hint of like, I couldn't say that with a straight face. However, I actually believe that. I stand, as much as I make fun of that, and I'm like kind of saying it, but like...
Kind of cliche, but there's something to it.
It is true, yes. Because I find that...
thank you, Native Atheist.
Thank you so much, Native.
He wants to see you twerk again.
Oh my. And I want to. But I also wanted to say, hearing that makes me wonder who that Joshua is that you're eager and needy. Oh my. This Joshua is Moses's replacement, which kind of sucks. It's
not
gotta...
Joshua Herbel. Not that Joshua.
Oh my. Yes. Who is the next Joshua. However, Moses was given like a death... He was literally told by God. He was like...
See this promised land, that thing I've been telling you about for like the past 50 years, like that you've been working towards, and you've been doing all this shit I've been telling you to do. No, you ain't gonna make it because you pissed me off. You're gonna fucking die, and Josh's gonna take over. So here's a little hole in the ground. Just go ahead and climb yourself down into that and just die.
You could just like fall into that hole.
Yeah,
we could just
die.
Get this over with. But I'm sure things are going to end well for Joshua. I am definitely sure. But the last, I believe, super chat of the night, and we are sending so much love as we have been asking us anything or say something funny. A summer without religion. We are sending love to Native Atheist as he sends love to us. Love y'all. Boom, boom, boom. And it's true. It does mean that I gotta kind of boom, boom, boo, 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 boo. Also, James, do you see the specific T-shirt? That is not a coincidence or by chance or by accident. All the words that the creationists like using.
What is it?
It is a question mark. That's right, baby. We have been asking us anything or saying something funny.
The first thing the devil did was question God's word. Don't you ever question the word of God.
That's right. Don't question that word.
That was the devil's first trick.
Satan seems to be way like smarter, cooler. Like he just outdoes God every time. I also want to point out that God is like basically I used to point out that he got from story 1. I'll give him a little leeway. There were like he got 7 days. 7, right? Did he create? He created man. No,
it doesn't tell us how long it was happened. They were there before everything went to hell.
So I'll give him 7 days, and then the second story, story number 2, all falls apart. Now listen, if it's your first time playing a video game, it's like Sims Universe. I understand. Okay, we all got to start out on beginner level and work our way up. I just want to point out, though, if you are the omnipotent, omnipresent curator of the universe, I feel like your standards should be a little bit higher. I feel like you should have gotten the high score like a little bit earlier. That's just me, though. You know.
No, man, I already fucked everything up. All right, I'm about to drown everybody. Fuck. I mean, I don't know why I'm saying fuck, because I'm not the one drowning. It's got to be them. But...
Gonna kick my children out, and then I'm gonna later on drown the entire world. Oh, but thank you so very much, Native Atheists, for all the love, all the support, all the love that you've all been giving us out here, sending 2 scoops of love to Native Atheist and Peebo. Both of y'all are giving us so much love, and I think we are about to head out.
Are we now?
That yawn is a yes.
Oh,
and
boy.
So I am going to be starting. I promised that I'm going to be doing. She's probably passed out, but if not passed out, I promised her cereal and eating. But on other nights, beyond our own, I'm going to start coming, I think, to the Discord after shows, because I want the Discord to start growing again. I want it to be a community where we can talk and get together. And it is the hip new thing, though I have to start doing TikTok and Clubhouse material, because apparently that's the hip new thing. Though every time I say that, I feel like this, James. When I start talking about TikTok, I'm just like, I'm going to do TikTok. That's right. No, new content. It's going to be great.
The Chinese Communist Party, more of my data.
I know. Well, it's got... James, let me tell you, they're all going to... Depends on the ones on Facebook and Twitter probably are giving it to it, though I guess it's our government. So I have.
If you look at the content that TikTok pumps into our American kids versus what Chinese kid, when they pull up TikTok, the kinds of videos they see is completely different.
Probably.
Yeah.
But it is a good way to hopefully get subscribers and to maybe get to reach people, which is our goal as public speakers, as counter apologists. But with that, what was I think we're wrapping up. So I've done the Patreon like a million times. I'll do that at the end instead of shouting it out now. I'll do the Fiver. Doing the Fiver.
Yeah. No, Mo. No gizmo. No gizzy.
If you would like to have your podcast brought to life, or you would like help monetizing it or just growing it, feel free to check out my Fiver right on screen. Hey, I like, not only do I like it, but I like his book on reading. And just like he has the Losers Club, my book has something called The Crew. The Crew is just like it sounds like. It's a crew of people on a ship led by Samuel, the Black Bounty Hunter. It's called the Black Bounty Hunter because he has a black mark on him, the highest level bounty in the game. Not the game, the book. He has $1 billion bounty on his head. He's probably one of my. Well, they're all main characters, but he's the one who saved the life of my main character. Spoiler alert. He is not. He's an angel.
He's an angel? Okay.
Fucking
Wingles. What are we going to do about him?
But he sacrificed his life when he was a child so that she could have a good life as a make-believe, as a fake Wingle. Because she's not a Wingle. She's half a Wingle, though. I shouldn't say make-believe, because she's half Wingle. She's half angel, half human. And, but I've noticed something. I have a thing in storytelling. And that is, if you want to make a super powerful character, once again, James, I'm going to be really deep. You have no idea how deep I'm going to be.
Oh, I can imagine how deep you're going to be.
If you want to make a really strong character that people actually will understand and root for, and they're going to care about, and yet you still want them to be super powerful, all you need to do is ask for one thing. You must trade everything. Give me your life. Give me your family. Give me your friends. Give me your old job, your old life, and everything that you value dear. Because that's how it worked for Samuel, and I think it's really powerful.
Okay.
That's why he's such a he's such a badass. He basically he is probably the best shot on the world that he lives in. He has the best aim, and so do. But it reminds me of people like Naruto and One Piece. Go check out the trailer for the live action One Piece. It's amazing. I'm biased.
How amazing is it? Very amazing.
It is. They're good. I'm going after I've finished this book. I want to make a story like One Piece and Naruto. One Piece and Naruto have what I call himbos, and that is male bimbos. Both Naruto and Luffy, they're fucking. They don't have much gray matter going on, and yet they are the nicest people. They're cheery. They have the willpower to always push forward, and the most important thing, they will always defend their friends and loved ones no matter what, and to the bitter end. So, and once again, that is why they tend to be the strongest people in both of their series. That's the fun of it. And so I'll probably... Samuel's a little bit of a himbo, even though he's not the main. But that's why he's...
Not a bimbo, a himbo?
A himbo.
Yeah. Okay.
It's also an alcoholic, but...
Where's Mel Gibson when we need him?
Yeah. All right. What is... I never saw The Passion of the Christ. What was the... I
never saw the whole movie.
I feel like there was already spoilers. God, we know what's going to happen, James.
They're going to kill Jesus.
Kill Jesus. But it's going to be 50% more focused on Jews. So he's actually a good actor for all the anti.
Mel Gibson, he is a good actor.
Yeah. He is. He's a good actor. He's a good director.
And a good director. He can direct what good.
Oh my good.
When he drinks, he gets a little crazy with what he. Yeah.
He's not to point out that it may be a little bit hypocritical because he's worked with many, and it's probably Jews that made a lot of his productions what they are.
Well, they were saying in the chat about they were talking about Catholic, and you know what struck me, what I saw the other day is Amy, are you familiar with a conservative host on Fox News by the name of Sean Hannity?
I am, especially since there's not many well-known Fox News hosts anymore.
Yeah, Sean Hannity. You know, he was always Catholic, but in the past 3 or 4 years, Amy, he's not Catholic anymore.
Really?
He's still Christian.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me. The lapsing is a phenomenon.
But he said he was concerned about, quote, institutional corruption within the Catholic Church as the reason he's not Catholic anymore. You know what else Sean Hannity did around 2019, Amy?
What's that?
He got divorced.
Oh.
And according to the Catholic Church, they believe divorce is invalid 99% of the time, so they don't view divorce as... So once he got divorced, then he became, this institutional corruption is just so much. I can't go along with this anymore.
Trying to think of things that rhyme with Ussi.
Yeah.
Because he some people do theology for their, how should I say this? Their apologetics are really thick. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like Ken Hovind. he was always like, "Oh, the divorce is invalid. It's a man and one woman forever. That's all it is." As soon as though he got divorced, well, you. What do you expect me to be alone the rest of my life? I mean, come on, come on.
Oh,
I don't want to spend the rest of my
of course.
life.
Once it happens to, it's like when you get a gay kid. If you don't
Right.
disown them like a pizza, then you change your mind and evolve as a human being.
Yeah.
But also
But Kenobi doesn't have
love.
a gay kid, so therefore, gay people are still horrible in his mind.
But divorce.
Divorce is not that bad anymore because hey, he can't be expected to be alone the rest of his life. So
Also, that's funny. Passion of the Christ 2. You crossed the wrong guy. And she's like, oh, come on. The joke nailed it. You're right, Sinister. I always like Passion. Passion of the Christ 2. This time, it's personal.
They'll say, "Oh yeah, well, Jesus is coming back. He'll be back anytime now, Amy. So just you wait. You'll see. You're gonna be mad when he gets back. He's not gonna be happy with the way
And I always love
dress.
threats after
with
death.
how you dressed and yeah. But you call yourself a woman. God made you a wonderful, handsome man, and Jesse Lee Peterson would be happy to have you as a man.
Oh, I'm sure he would.
Hey, it's okay. I don't mind.
Sending love out there, Purple said their eldest came out as gay. Woohoo! See, I'm just glad that
with the same partner.
Very cool. I'm just glad that they were. My mom always said, this is heartbreaking moment of the night. My mom always said the hardest thing for me not telling her was that I couldn't trust her. And so that's something that I always seem to, seared into me because, you want to come out to your parents. You want to be able to trust your parents. And you think the worst, but what normally happens is that your parents accept who you are.
Did you say, maybe it was somebody else, but maybe it was you, that you were actually had more anxiety about coming out as bisexual than as trans?
It's not the anxiety. I'll tell you that I came out as bi after.
Yeah, you were.
And
came out as trans first.
And so, yes, I came out as trans first. And so by the time I came out as bi, my mom was like, yeah.
Okay. I mean,
You
already made it all the way down the football field. You might as well go the last little yard.
It's true. It's like I'm adding sprinkles and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I want to eat ice cream. They're like, we know. What else to shout out? Well, I guess I just hope you all had a fantastic time on this episode of Ask Us Anything or Say Something Funny, a summer without religion. Dun, dun, dun. That's right. The show where you get to ask us anything or tag us with your best one-liner. This is our love letter to our supporters of the people who keep the lights on this channel. But I do want to also thank my co-host, James W., as well as all of the lovely people in chat, our awesome mods who make this stream so great, and of course, the fantastic viewers like you who make this channel even possible. If you enjoy the show, please hit that like button. We went on kind of a rant earlier. Sometimes you never know what's going to make us go into a rant, but it does. It helps the algorithm. So you guys are all fantastic on hitting the like button, so we just want to thank you. How about hit that share button? That's the new thing that we also forget. Hit that share.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring, especially if you're in the debate community. Start that conversation. Follow us on twitch.tv/Amy Newman Skeptic. Shout out to Regos hanging out there on the Twitchosphere. So send Twitchosphere out. We are actually on to the YouTubes. We are on lots of platforms. We're on Facebook right now, sending love to anybody watching on Facebook, sending love to Twitter if you're out there, sending love to, we're not hooked up to LinkedIn, but sending love to everybody on
Spotify
there. Exactly. Spotify to everybody. And
Rumble.
we should do we should do Spotify, actually.
Yeah.
We should start doing that. I should look
charge,
into that.
I think, right?
Yes, it helps when you already are kind of established, I think, because Spotify doesn't pay you any support. Not that we're just doing this. I think James and I, we both do this because it's our passion, because it's, we think that it's the right thing to do. However, it is, like we were saying, it is what keeps the lights on and allows us to keep doing that. And so I still think there are other ways to enable good stuff on Spotify. And so it's a platform we should be on. We should be expanding the skeptic and ranting community. But with that,
good night, James Wolfe.
Night, James Wolfe. In fact, night, James Wolfe. And if you would like to see your name shown up, say hi, bye. That's me, bisexual? No, just say bye. Randolph is like, that's right. Now you're getting punny. And we'll say bye. We'll show you up there. But boo, boo, boo. Hit that bell icon too. That bell icon. If you're like, I am not getting any of the reminders. Oh my God, I got here so late. Well, to help, it does when you put that all button to all. And so you'll see our premieres. Like, if you are a Patreon, go check out my latest improv comedy. And it's really a mix. I've finally found the thing that works, James. I have found my process. It is the lovely centrist in myself as well. I should have known. It's not that I gotta go just completely off the cuff and just make stuff. Because if I just were to go up on stage and just blurb, I could probably get through it and be interested
without a plan or anything.
Yeah, but I don't think I could do as many one-liners. I think the jokes actually start to develop after coming from, instead of the other side too, memorization. What I do is I'll write subjects, and I'll practice those subjects, and I'll talk about the subjects over and over and get kind of a shtick, and it's almost like one-liners start to develop that you're like, huh? And then you just go up there and you do that. And so now I have kind of, and it's more cathartic, because when you do memorization, if someone messes you up or you forget what you're doing, you go like deer in the headlights. And if you do improv, I think when you first start, you go deer in the headlights as well, because you don't know what to even talk about. And so it's like too much and too little information. Just the right amount, James. That's my tip for any newbie comedians out there. Bring some kind of notebook, even your phone. Don't be embarrassed to bring your phone up there. Just, you don't have to memorize it. Some people do. Jerry Seinfeld writes out every joke. But I think my hybrid method is going to be the way that I'm moving forward. So if you're a Patreon, it is up right now. Go check out my 5-minute set. That is the allocated time. You get about 5. Some places let you do up to 10, but that's going to be going on more because it's cathartic. Oh my Jesus. Just like doing this, even if it's 5 minutes, my Lord, just to go up there and just rant. And like, laughs are like a subtle feeling like the audience is agreeing with you. And the new thing that I want since memorization is when people don't laugh, I feel like I want to finally have a little bit of a repertoire to respond back. When you memorize, you can't respond back. But in improv, I'm hoping if I don't get like that Jesus joke, first of all, I missed one thing. I'm very proud of that set, but I could have got a laugh. First of all, the mainline Christian, that is like the hardest thing to get a laugh. But you're building up tension. And I still think if I had just called her a slut, I know that sounds funny, but in the moment, I think that would have been funny, but I forgot to do that, and then I released all the tension with the Catholic joke. But I'll be able to respond now. So if the crowd doesn't laugh, I could go like, huh, you guys really didn't agree with that. And they'll laugh from agreeing that they didn't agree with me. And then I'll be able to have a talk with the audience. These are things I'm learning from going up there and other comedians. I'm not just pulling it from my butt. I'm learning this from other comedians as well. It's a methodology. Just learn about it. If something works for you, do it. That's all that really matters. But yes, what was I saying? We were wrapping up. Boop. Yes, and it will be released in a week or so just to our subscribers, because this is the Skeptic and Ranting community. We want to support the people that support us, no matter if you're giving us money or just here as a community member. We hope you have a home as a skeptic. Especially, it's hard if you have lost your other community. Many times you're a part of many communities. I'm a part of the basket weaving and my religious community. A lot of times the religious community, when you don't toe the line, it's either Yahweh or the highway, James.
Yeah, highway.
And it tends to make people go highway. But yes, follow on Twitch, subscribe, sending love to our subscribers, the bell icon. You can also, sending love to all the people who sent us super chats during the show. You can also continue to support the show afterwards with a super thanks, which is like a super chat comment. After the show, the Skeptic and Ranting Discord server opens up for anyone looking to have an after party show. The link of which is in the description below, but I'll also boom, send it out, and you get the authentic hearing clickety clack experience, like ASMR, James.
There you go. They love it.
Yeah.
Don't deprive them of it.
Or the opposite of ASMR, but that could be an ASMR in itself. Okay. Anyway. Discord. We do have one of the ways to support the show is by joining our channel. By joining, not only just by subscribing, but actually joining and becoming a member. You get some unique perks. Like we don't have. One day I've seen other channels where they have. It goes so fast that you're like boom, boom, boom. We have instead our evolving badge system. You don't just get green, red, and yellow. No. But we have technological sophistication. It starts as just a little test tube and grows all the way, James, to a spaceship.
The sail is more complicated than the space shuttle.
Oh, Jesus. They're Jesus, apparently.
You think that evolved on its own?
Yes.
Randomly.
Billions of years. Yeah, random chance. I should have like a fake shot glass filled with
every time they say
with water
shit.
And just like, just be like, be even
random
funny.
Chance,
would be even funnier if I held up like a flask that said water in it and just went.
Yeah.
I'm making bits, but I'm only going to do bits if he starts to do bits. Like, I try to match people's energy when it comes to that kind of stuff. If we're having a very formal academic debate, then I feel that we can at least talk about those subjects because we've been talking about evolution and the Big Bang and such for such a long time. Or we could sling mud. James, I think you and I we're good at getting down and dirty when it comes to. That's the thing too. They think they can like. Sometimes they think they can out. I hate to say politically incorrect us because they think they're like, what's a woman? Oh man, James, I'm contrarian. And it's like
I'm so edgy.
So edgy.
I've been edgelording all day on my laptop.
But like,
on 4chan.
There are countries where we can't even say the mundane beliefs that we actually have. They will murder us. Downright murder us. They'll murder even the heterosexual white male. That's bad. That you gotta really piss someone off to. I don't know. It's crazy. Blasphemy laws.
Yeah, punishing criminal laws against atheism.
And once again, I understand why upsetting when someone burns a book. All right. I don't burn books. I don't think that burning a Quran or a New Testament or a Torah is a, how should I say this? A good way. I was going to say a good waste of our time, which is a weird thing to say. Is time well spent? I think instead we should just counter it. We should just counter the bad information, just because I'm a supporter of books. And so I don't think that the Bible or the Quran are historical documents. Like they're historical documents in the way that Spider-Man may be considered a historical document one day because New York exists. It's true. It's a real place.
Yeah. Is it?
And so we should just counter. Well, I went through a weird time. I had a roommate once who used to give me flack, and maybe justifiable, because I used to give middle fingers to churches. Wow! And I did. It actually did make me feel better for a little while. It was kind of funny to me. But I'm over that. I think we go just like I think I think transgender people go through a little bit of an awkward stage when they first come out, and then they eventually find themselves and kind of chill out on the subject. Chill out's not the right word, because that sounds like there's something wrong. I think that, sometimes we've been wanting to be feminine so much that we just go to the extreme, and then we kind of just come back. We kind of come back to this nice center thing. Chillax, exactly. And I forget what I was trying to talk about right before I was talking about the Anyway, sending so much love.
It's almost 4.
It's almost 4. That's true. Discord server. It opens up. Channel members. The best way to help us. There we go. We've been saying it so much, but the best way to help us. Oh, and yes, the angry. So I think we all go through an angry atheist phase, but it's a mistake to think that the majority of atheists go through that. It's arguably, makes sense, because we were lied to, or oftentimes lied to, or mistaken at best, and for oftentimes a good portion of our lives. And so it takes a little bit of that going out. And so, I think we come back to where we don't really hate the God. We don't really, we're not like, I dislike the religion, but I think that you handle it in a practical, healthy manner, which is like what we're doing here.
Depends on the context, I guess, but yeah.
Exactly. And there we go. I said it. There it is. That is truly, I try and keep that the ending like we've earned. Try and keep it like we earn it. We might have said it a little bit more this episode because this is our supporter show, but it does help and keep the lights on. What's that?
Doorknob head down there.
It's almost 4. The Amy Newman, James W. story.
Bookstores everywhere.
Bookstores everywhere.
Atheist bookstores.
Yo, I'll tell you, James.
Not Christian bookstores.
I'll tell you. I just finished another portion of my book yesterday. And so I'm moving through chapter 5 right now. I am 5 out of 12, almost 5 out of 12 done my book.
That's coming up on halfway. And
that's where I look. The goal right now is I want to get through chapter 6. But this is a fantastic chapter because mythic structure-wise, it's called The Belly of the Whale. And so it's when shit gets real. And so, for example, the first scene, I'm going to give spoilers for my own book, but the first scene in chapter 5 is my main villain who controls forest. He controls leaves and trees and stuff. And then I want to call right now his lackey, who controls fire, Katsugi, who is able to, burn people to death. And then the CEO of a Fortune 500 company that was experimenting on people, who basically was about to. I have a program where the magic people basically practice their magic on criminals. And so the CEO is a criminal that was spending time in jail in this program very specifically to get time off. But they've all escaped. So these 3 people have escaped, and Isaac is landing in the capital, the Republic of Heaven capital, and he's about to rob a bank. And so they're landing in a park, and as they land, Isaac goes to sit down at a bench, and the CEO is like, well, aren't we going to go and rob the bank? And Isaac is like, just chill. Wait a moment. We're going to wait for the signal, which is another chapter. I have another magic user that's about to attack basically the Parliament building. A double spoiler. But he's like, chill. Just relax here. And so he turns to Katsugi, and Isaac is like, do you remember what you're supposed to do in all this? And Katsugi is like, of course I remember. We're going to go in there. I'm going to go and get behind the counter. I'm going to use force if necessary. I'm going to use the key card that we stole already, along with this key card from the clerk, and we're going to use both of these key cards, a much higher level person, to actually transfer money. We're going to transfer money into multiple bank accounts, and then he says we're going to withdraw the money from a CTM machine. And Isaac responds with, a CTM. He says, what? A CTM. A computerized, I can't do the teller, a computerized teller machine. Because I love that, just because sometimes people call it ATM machines. And so it's like this little thing that Isaac has OCD. I like just including that. And Katsugi goes, fine, we'll take the money out of the CTMs. And the CEO goes, what the hell what am I doing in all of this? And Isaac goes, well, we need someone to take the fall for all of this. I mean, we actually need someone to go out there and make it look like they're the ones robbing the bank. And the guy's like, you want me to be your patsy? And he basically is like, I'm not doing that for a bunch of magical freaks. Uses the F word. And so you laughed the first time I said this, which kind of makes me think that I'm on to something. And thus...
What did I laugh at?
And thus Isaac stands up. His other name is King Fungus. And so King Fungus stands up from his chair. Is that what I laughed at,
King Fungus? Yeah.
His name. He hates it because people make fun of half the people Katsugi picked his superhero or supervillain name, depending on how they view themselves. But people in Heaven's Gate jail cell laboratory gave King Fungus his name. And King Fungus basically steps up and he's like, you know the funny thing about fungus? It affects not just, and because he's like, what are you gonna do to me? You gonna tree me to death? And technically speaking, Isaac can tree him to death. He can summon trees that kill him. Nonetheless,
tree me. Go ahead,
yes.
I dare you. Tree me, bitch.
He basically like, go tree me to death. And he's like, you know the funny thing about fungus? It rots more than just animals. It rots trees. And he steps up, and a chitin pincer grows from, either the corner of it, or either the palm or like the side of his arm. I'm still working, but a pincer grows from his arm, and when one swell swoop stabs and pierces the CEO in the stomach, and as the CEO starts to use his hands to bash at it, he injects thousands and thousands of spores into the man's body until he convulses. Isaac puts his hand over his mouth and says, come now. We don't need all of that attention. And, it fades to black as his body limps, and Katsugi just watches on, basically sweating because, different magical powers, different shticks. And so I love that because that's just the beginning of my chapter 5. It's the beginning of really seeing that shit's hitting the fan, because the next part of the thing is darkness basically taking shadow people. A lot of my villains have stuff that deals with consciousness. Isaac takes people into like this fungus world, and then the fungus replace their consciousness. Darkness, the signal, the guy they're waiting for, is a guy that draws people down into his little shadow realm, and they pop back out as shadow creatures that he can control. And so I have all these little fun, interesting things, and that's chapter 5, baby. I love it. And both Darkness and Isaac are angels, and Katsugi is a plant person. He is the one, and I like that. I have a plant person that controls fire. But yes, that's enough of I'm allowed to at least talk about it once they ask us anything, James.
Sure. They love it.
I honestly think there has never been an angel story like this before. And it is interesting. I've been told that when you kind of like mix all of these genres together, you end up oftentimes creating something that is its own thing. And that's what because it has horror, but it's also a superhero. It has comedy. Like a lot of my guys, I like to think are witty and have a lot of snapback. My main character, she is quiet. She's introverted and quiet. And so it allows for a lot of other teammates in the crew to give snappy dialogue. But, all right. Yes, I think we're at the end. We gave the Patreon. I was supposed to be saying Patreon is Patreon at Amy Newman. I am Amy Newman. And we will see you, James W. and myself, at the next episode of Skeptic Ball Z. Say goodnight, and we'll show you up on screen.
Good night, everybody.
Wow.